All right. Go ahead and sit down so you can hear yourself.
Testing 1 2. Testing.
Mic check 1 2. Let's pause this music for a minute. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Testing 1 2. Testing.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Good.
I might have to go up a little bit. Testing 1 2. It hasn't came up yet. The delay, yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to bring it up just a tad.
This is weird though to hear myself because I'm like,
that's
I
okay.
don't hear my, well, like when I hear myself speak, I don't hear that.
So I don't like testing it myself. Okay, so we're good. Get you unplugged there so we can. Yeah, just get it over there. Alright, let's put the music back on, shall we?
Okay.
We are live and we are switching to the slides, baby. Okay. Welcome
Let's
to
go.
the Retro Rec Room podcast. I'm your ghost with the most ZVS86, and that is my man to the left, my Ace Boom Coon, the Astro Boy himself, Mac Astro.
How's it going, guys?
How's it going? How you doing, man? So, Astro.
Yeah.
COVID-19. We're diving right in, deep, balls deep, right at the beginning.
Straight to the base, huh?
Yeah. Straight to the face, man. Yeah.
Take it down to the base.
Yes, sir. Penis right to the face, dude. This shit is crazy.
Yeah.
This shit is fucking
about
crazy.
COVID-19. So, the company I work for, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're part of infrastructure, apparently. Which, by the way, we just build modular homes. That's not part of infrastructure, but whatever. Corporate overloads, right? We had a guy go down for COVID, and apparently he's been working at this place for like a week. Not as max, but he's been working for a week until he decided to get checked out because he got sick over the weekend, and turns out he rated positive for COVID. So after finding that out from supervisors, they informed the overlords, and the overlords decided to send everyone home so they could get in a company, which I didn't know that was a thing, get a company to come in and sanitize the whole thing for COVID-19 shit. And so I actually left work at like 12 o'clock today. So.
Right, and that's why we're recording this. We have time. It's crazy. Yeah, man. I mean, it hasn't been that crazy at my job. It's just more like, just general safety stuff. Face masks, gloves, everybody making sure they use sanitizer and shit.
Yeah.
You have to get screened before you come into the site. Like, before you can get inside, you have to get...
With the whole little freaking gun thing?
Yeah,
for real?
Yeah,
I mean, it's awesome. So.
Yeah, we have like, we have that. They actually have infrared camera that can measure your temperature. They haven't been using it. They used it like the first few days and then they stopped. But they actually have that as well. So it literally can check your fucking body temperature, which is super awesome. They just
my body temperature is always going to be hot. This is why I like the cold weather.
Well, it has information on screen and shit, so they can tell if like you have a fever. But the temperature check thing is perfectly fine. But yeah, man, it's been nuts. It's been great for me, like as far as like work wise. I'm in my little shack off in the parking lot, and it's been converted to exit only. So like literally, like I have like no traffic. It's great.
I mean that's one thing.
It's very little human contact.
Where do you work at exactly? You work as a security guard for
Samsung.
Samsung?
It's Samsung Austin Semiconductor. It's a plant where they make the wafers and stuff for like phones and computers and shit like that.
Okay.
And what's really cool is that as far as what I'm doing, my post that I work at, it's just really cush, man. Like I just sit in there all day. And like right now, like with the virus thing going on, I'm literally sitting there all day. I see people that come out, they run their fucking shit through my X-ray machine. I make sure we have like little stickers that we put over their phone cameras, or they have like an app that disables the camera. I just make sure all that shit's up to fucking code, and make sure they're not taking anything out of the site. No, why would anyone? I work at a contractor gate, dude. These like laborers and shit. These motherfuckers aren't trying to steal anything, but. Still, I have to make sure they don't.
So wait, was that like so this is a new position then you're in, because like I remember when you first got the job, you were talking to me that you worked in an actual business like setting where you had you did?
I mean, it is. Like,
I thought like you had a lot of females going up in there because they're all coders and programmers.
I mean, they have that.
Yeah.
If they're like most of those are actual Samsung employees.
Oh, okay.
But that's like inside. I don't work inside. I work outside because like I don't want to work inside. There's just a lot of cameras and people looking at what you're doing. No, I can't.
Okay. I understand that too. Then
I like being
same reason why I like working on the crane outside than being inside, being a factory worker.
Exactly. Fuck that. I like being outside and being able to be on my phone all the time and no one bother me, and playing my Nintendo Switch, which I have my my Animal Crossing mention count is currently at 4.
At 4?
Yeah, people just seeing the
Dude,
Switch.
I am not even remotely interested in
Bro,
that
I'm not
fucking
at
game.
all. Like,
What is that, like Harvest Moon, but for fucking children?
I don't even know, dude. Like, it's I want to say it's like The Sims. I have no clue what Animal Crossing
The
is.
Sims, but for children?
No, adults
That's
play.
what it kind of looks like.
Adults play it. Like, it's an interesting.
Adult children play it.
It's an interesting game. I don't know. Fuck, I don't play Animal Crossing. Someone that plays Animal Crossing would have to tell me about this shit.
Look, if you play Animal Crossing...
Yo,
I'm
what
already
up, Toby?
judging you.
Okay, we got Logic and Toby in the chat.
Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, you know I had to play the new album Logic. You know, we had to
Yes.
premiere the new album Past Reflections. That's what the beats you were hearing at the beginning.
Brought to you by Electric Sound.
Electric Sound ENT. Check them out on YouTube, please. I'm getting a little on my mic here. I haven't used my headset. Fuck, that sucks. We'll get this setup ironed out. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. This is our first go at the whole podcasting, even for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But
This is different for me. I usually just let my guitar speak for itself.
right. Let me see if I can get my fucking chat pulled up here so I can not have to. There it is, my dog.
If there's some topic that you guys want us to talk about or just bring up a question about, we'll more than happily talk about said topic.
We'll bullshit about it, but if not, then we're just gonna be we're gonna talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about.
If you want to ask us, like, what do you think is better, silk panties or freaking underwears? Like, I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever.
I never wore silk panties before, but I imagine it feels really good.
It probably does. Silk feels wonderful on the skin.
I imagine, like, I'd just be walking around with a constant boner because
The silk.
yeah,
on my skin, baby.
yeah.
But we did have topics we wanted to talk about.
Serious ones than silk panties. And underwears.
We're not gonna talk about that.
I mean, we
fucking,
probably can though. We can.
Let's. We were talking about Ghostbusters earlier. So I know this is old, but it's kind of relevant to today because we live in a fucking society. So me and the Astro Boy here were actually speaking about the Ghostbusters 2016 movie and the Ghostbusters franchise in general, and about how that movie had Animal Crossing and Doom fans. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's fine.
Well, I have no comment on Animal Crossing because I've never played it.
No.
Do I plan to.
There's like this, it's rampant on social media. Like
serious?
Doom fans and Animal Crossing fans, because they came out on the same day. Doom Eternal, the new Animal Crossing game, like they get along so well. Like there's all this fucking art of Isabelle from Animal Crossing with the Doom guy, and they're having like it's like Isabelle will take the Doom guy out and they'll do some Animal Crossing type shit, like drinking tea or having lunch.
I only imagine what's on Pornhub on that.
And then like Doom guy's taking Isabelle out to go kill demons and shit. And you see Isabelle like at a firing range learning how to shoot a gun and shit. It's all kinds of like really cool,
Very
like
fan
best
fiction,
friend, best friends, best buddies type shit. It's funny as hell,
yeah,
dude.
I bet you on Pornhub it's a whole different matter.
That rule 34, probably, maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. But
Right, that's why you got my chaotic ass, because I'll look it up.
Ghost, exactly, Toby.
For educational purposes.
Right. Exactly what Toby's saying here. He's saying that movie kind of told me not to watch anything with agenda. That movie is heavy on the agenda. Now, me personally, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was funny. I thought the humor was well done. The humor was good. Like the underlying super aggressive, like in your face, like feminism. I did not like that in the movie. I thought it was unneeded. I didn't like how we had to make these gender roles like a big story thing in the movie. Like it was all about that, and that was never needed in Ghostbusters. Like even in the original movie, yes, Venkman is very much a chauvinist, but none of the other Ghostbusters are. And Venkman himself, I mean, yes, he's kind of a pig of a guy, but like that's his characterization. That's what makes him entertaining, is that, he's this asshole that is constantly flirting with women. He's that character. That's his character. But But the other guys are very respectful of women. All three of the other Ghostbusters. And then you have like the secretary Janine, who is not a stereotypical secretary character in a
She's
setting.
not sexualized.
She's not sexualized.
Not your typical sexualized
Exactly.
secretary in
Janine
post
is
90s
Janine is like girl next door attractive, and then even that you don't even see.
I'd date her. I'd take her to a fucking
I'd fuck the
Olive
shit out of Janine, but
Garden.
Janine is not even anywhere remotely near being sexualized until the second movie, and that's when she has sex with Lewis.
And it was a small instance anyway.
It's a small.
It wasn't even like
it's a
throughout the whole entire
exactly.
film.
It's a small scene, and like in that movie, yes, she's very. Are you fucking serious? Stop. I'm live. She's very dressed up and made up. Like she looks more like sexy in that movie. She does. But
Less Girl Next Door, more like, yeah, just imagine me like really dolled up.
right, and then she is in the movie. Like for those scenes you see her,
Yeah.
she is. But that also fit with the time period. In the 90s, you had more women versus the late 80s.
I feel like in the 90s, more women were more reserved about themselves.
They were, because she's covered up.
You didn't see fucking videos of chicks twerking in the middle of the fucking street.
Well, she's covered up. But if you notice, like, her makeup's done better.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that bullshit fucking butch-looking hairstyle she had in the fucking first movie. She has her hair pressed down and looks really
80s
nice.
Fucking big hair.
Yeah, man.
No,
She
that shit
doesn't
was
have.
tight.
She didn't have the 80s.
My
big
mom
hair.
had
No,
that
she had
shit.
the short.
I bet
She had the short 80s hair. She had like the cut down on the side and the top.
Yeah.
She had that 80s haircut.
Okay.
In the second
Let's
movie,
face facts. Every chick back in like mid post 80s, they had the big hair, freaking poofy.
either the big hair or they had the short haircut.
Yeah.
And in the second movie, she has the whole bob thing going on.
Yeah.
Which was, very nice. Like I said, she had the makeup. Her clothes fit more of the time period. Janine looks far more attractive in the second movie. It's just a thing. And also in the movie, if you notice that Janine is not stupid. Like
Yes.
the male secretary in the Ghostbusters, I hated it. He was just like this really hot guy that was a dumbass.
He was portrayed as like, I'm big, I'm buff,
And I'm hot.
handsome up here, like most women go for, or freaking what would be the word? Just typical, like,
Right.
that's what females find attractive.
Right, exactly.
But he's
exactly.
dumb because of all those other features he has, which I'm kind of like,
Because the woman had to be like smart, and so the guy had to be dumb. And I was like,
and that's not what that portrayed in the original
I didn't
Ghostbusters.
like
That's why I
that
was
because
like, what?
Janine is not stupid.
Yeah.
So like, exactly logic. Me and Astro have been saying like they should have a multi-class, which is why I'm gonna like the actual fucking sequel that's about to come out with the younger kids.
See, I'm just finding this out. There's a true sequel happening.
It's
which
basically
I'm like, okay.
one of the kids from Stranger Things, and it's gonna be, from what it looks like, they're gonna be related to Egon. They're gonna be like grandchildren.
Okay.
Or something of that nature. And it's going to be kids, like inheriting this, the equipment and stuff. And then the one character you're going to have kind of is the mentor character, which is going to be the guy who played Ant-Man. I forgot his name.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's great. He's going to play.
Kicker.
He's going to be a school teacher.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a fan of the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be kind of that mentor character for them when they discover all the equipment and all this other shit.
That's interesting already.
But you're gonna have a
like I would totally fucking drop fucking.
You're gonna have a mix.
$15.
You're gonna have a mixed ethnic cast because with the kids, you're gonna have.
What I'm talking about.
You're gonna have someone who's directly related to Egon.
Okay.
It's gonna take place in a rural town, so it's gonna be really kind of. They're gonna lean into the horror aspect of Ghostbusters.
What about Bill Murray's daughter in the freaking third film, though?
He didn't have a daughter.
Did they have a son? Oh, they did have a son.
No. Bill Murray does not have any children.
No,
his character.
No. His.
Venkman does not have kids.
So who is the? Well, hold on.
That kid is. So you know the guy that she was working with when she was part of the orchestra deal, when she was a violinist in the first film.
Okay. Yes.
The guy that's with her that kind of gives Venkman a dirty look. After Venkman and her break up, she hooks up with him. That's his kid.
Oh.
What ends up happening is he gets a better job working for an orchestra in Europe. She doesn't want to move there. She wants to stay in New York, so he just dips. Yeah.
Okay.
So he dips out. He doesn't care if they have a kid or not.
Wow.
So that's what happens there. But again, this is
and they weren't black.
If you read into supplemental Ghostbusters material, which most people don't, they haven't played the Ghostbusters video game for 360 and PS3, so they don't know about that. They haven't read the comic books, they don't know about that stuff.
I wouldn't play it myself. I mean, I watched you play it a little bit. I
Bro,
would
I do
rather
it every
just
year.
watch you play
I do it every year.
Yeah,
it's literally an annual stream.
It's
I
either
do.
Resident Evil of some sorts, and then it's that game, and then the darkness.
Ghostbuster. Oh, Alan Wake.
You remember that shit?
The
darkness. Yes.
But anyway, that's enough from Ghostbusters, because like, it was a disappointment to me because they could have went more of a sequel direction, which I wanted. They could have been actual. If they wouldn't have leaned in so much into the feminism aspect and actually made them successors, like, oh, the Ghostbusters are old, they're going to sell the Ghostbusters franchise to these women, they're going to take it over, and then they're going to do their thing. A little bit of the feminism, of course, because that's topical, but they really fucking just slam it in your face constantly.
Yeah.
And there was no need for it.
There's this whole thing where I've had discussions with I've had discussions with you,
Right.
Where, like, how did you feel about the Ghostbusters movie, Astro? I was like, I didn't like it. And they're like, well, what did you not like about it? It's like, it's an all-female cast. And then I'm like portrayed as like this anti-feminist. And I'm like, no, that's not even what it's about. It's like, by all means, you could preach feminism, but it didn't need to be to that extreme.
Exactly.
Like, and frankly, we didn't even need another remake. Because what else did we get as remakes? We got Red Dawn as a remake. I didn't even hear anything good about it.
Which
movie?
I'm
not going to. Red Dawn?
Not.
It's an old, like...
I've heard the name.
Like, late 80s movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely 80s.
And then they remade it with Chris Hemsworth, the same guy in Ghostbusters.
Hemsworth is the man.
Or was it Chris Hemsworth or was his brother?
Him and his brother are awesome.
Yeah,
Liam?
They're great. They're great guys.
Great actors.
They're great actors. But you had one of the Hemsworth brothers playing the lead role in that, and I don't know, man. I didn't see it because I'm like, I don't need to see it because I already saw the original. And if you deviate from the original, then why would I go see something
it's just gonna piss you off.
The original was just fine. And that's the thing is, like, when they made the Ghostbusters, the remake with the all-female cast and that male lead role with Chris Hemsworth, I was very upset about it. Because why do we need another remake? And why do we need a remake that is based upon feminism now? Where it's like all the females are the leads. Which they already even do a good role for their female leads.
And like we were just talking about, like, they're not even like defined like the way the Ghostbusters characters were. Like, okay, so it's like it's supposed to be this remake and the females are supposed to be taking the place of the male characters. But you only have one female character that represents their male counterpart, and that is I forgot the actress's name, the black chick. She is the only person that's directly like one for one their male version. She's Winston. There's some differences that I don't like. Hey, move your mic because it's like right in front of your face. There we go. Like there's some stuff they took away from the Winston characterization to make her different, which I didn't like. Winston is like a former fucking he's a military veteran. Winston is currently in the Ghostbusters timeline for that time period, going to school to get his I forgot what degree. I think it's a doctorate. It might be something else, but he's getting his degree. And it's not a master's or a bachelor's. It's past the master's. He's doing that in Ghostbusters timeline during that time period. She's literally just the chick that works at a subway station, and she's read up. She's read up a lot of things because she knows a lot of information because she reads all the time. But she doesn't
have the traditional education that
Winston she doesn't did that Winston does. And then the scientists, like you have like the goofy fucking super energetic chick who's kind of like a characterization of a combination of some of Venkman's more annoying traits, and then Egon because she's very eccentric, and then you have the two other chicks who are the leads, who are they're basically doing everything they always do on SNL, and they're essentially just both Ray. They're basically the same fucking character. If you've seen the movie, they are almost the same goddamn character. I hated that.
Just one a little bit
One is a little bit
That's
less
it.
outspoken than the other, but they do this shit all the time.
Mhm.
So I didn't like that. Melissa McCarthy, like you were saying earlier, basically plays herself. It's a Melissa McCarthy in Ghostbusters. I wasn't good with
literally,
that.
if you were to take any movie that she's done and you put it side by side, play them all together, in
And
the
she's
same
not a bad actress,
TV.
because there's
She's
some
not. She's not.
some stuff she's done which really
but
good.
she's very like Nicolas Cage-ish, where it's
right. It's like
you have your typical way.
it's like
act.
George Clooney,
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage. At this point, Will Smith. It's basically them and the movie, and then you just put the character's name over them.
Yeah. But are you really playing that character?
Right.
No, you're not even truly.
It's like,
And that's the thing, like,
and once you great actors, I don't know if I'll put Melissa McCarthy in a great actor position, but
she's okay. I'll say that much.
that happens with actors, especially when they do a lot of films. You basically kind of become.
That's what happens whenever you take an actor who's hitting like that peak of like, oh, they're popular. Let's throw them in all the films that we can.
Ryan Reynolds.
Put him in.
Ryan Reynolds, perfect example.
Even Kevin Hart.
He has some great roles that are not comedy, like the Amityville Horror. He has some dramatic movies.
He has great
He was great.
Ryan Reynolds.
But right now,
you couldn't have chosen better Deadpool.
But right now, as far as like the movies he's doing right now, consistently, like consistent work, he's basically doing the same guy. He's doing Ryan Reynolds. He was like that in Deadpool. He was like that in the fucking Pikachu movie. He's like that in the new video game movie that's about to come out. He's literally playing the same person.
Yeah.
Van Wilder, all that shit. Which is that's not a problem.
No. See, because Ryan Reynolds. See, that's the thing too. Is I watch a lot of movies as well.
Right.
As you, I've watched movies where it was basically literally on some B-level movie shit, and guess who's playing the lead? Ryan Reynolds. There was a movie, I can't remember what. I think it was on Hulu. But basically, Ryan Reynolds was playing this guy who's going out of his mind.
Yeah.
And basically his dog and cat talk to him. Kind of like some Homeward Bound shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's technically a serial killer, so these chicks that he's taken on dates with him, he ends up killing them in the end, and then they end up start talking.
And that's not the popular.
That was a very... Like, there was nothing Ryan Reynolds about his acting on that shit. I was just like, dude, this is amazing. Like, why is this a B movie on Hulu?
Oh, that's the same thing. Like I was gonna say, like Melissa McCarthy. She has some movie where she plays like some kind of criminal that I've heard about, and she was great in. And I was hearing, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a
dope part. She
departure.
steals so and so's identity and shit like that.
No, not that one.
Oh,
not that one. That one's funny though. I know which one you're talking about. No, this is not a comedy. Like this is like a movie, and she's like this fucking gangster ass fucking female. It's a complete departure from what she's done. I heard about it a while ago. But still, like going back to Ghostbusters, those two are basically the same characters, and it's like, who are you playing? And then Chris Hemsworth, like, I almost felt like, yeah, I know he's there and I know why he's there, but did he really need to be there? Like, what purpose does he serve outside of being a dumbass and being possessed by the villain, which is a ghost later on in the film?
Yeah. See, and that's what kind of upset me, because I mean, Chris Hemsworth is an actual really good actor.
Yes.
And he has comedy value to him too. If you've seen Thor Ragnarok, that was a great ass film. I would rather watch that one than his Thor the original or Thor freaking Dark World. Dark World was okay.
I like Dark World.
It kind of just opened up more to the
like
lore
Dark World.
of
Dark World's a dope movie.
Marvel.
But a dope movie.
Ragnarok really puts it on the line for fucking Marvel. And I thought that was a great addition to, because if you would have never had Thor Ragnarok, you wouldn't understand why freaking Thor on the whole beginning of Endgame Part 1.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm a Marvel guy, not a DC guy, so I love
it. But let's move on. Enough about Ghostbusters, and
yes,
it's
because God forbid I get
rampant
pissed off about freaking why I'm a anti-feminist because of that fucking film.
Yeah, let's not get into that that controversial Gray area.
I mean, I don't give a fuck.
Right. Final Fantasy 7. You got to play the demo finally.
I did. It was fucking
I've
amazing.
watched a ton of fucking material on it. I gotta pre-order it. I bought a bunch of stuff today, so I don't know if I'm gonna have the money for it because I still gotta pay this mortgage.
I remember
But,
whenever I first played Final Fantasy VII, and I want to say I was about 11, 12 years old. I was living in Florida at the time.
So that would have been what year?
11, 12 years old, bro. I don't know what fucking. That's like,
you're like
I'm
a year,
31 right now. That's like
okay, you're
almost
like
50.
you're like 2 years younger than me. So I would have been in high school. My first year of high school. I was 13. Yeah. So you played it in like 2000, 99, something like that?
I was definitely in middle school. I'll say that much.
Okay.
At least 7th grade.
I played it the first time I actually put hands on it.
And we're talking about Final Fantasy VII, the original PlayStation 1 shit,
Right.
not the new remake.
Yeah, I know the first time I played it was on PC actually. Like I had, I had seen it on PS1. I had a friend. This is when I lived in Alabama, so this would have been around 98, 99. I had a friend who had it, and the rest of us that ended up playing it got it on PC because no one else had a PlayStation. I was a 64 guy, and Jesus Christ, what a fucking. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy game, but it's a great game. And like, Will, stop making cameos on my shit. Fucking it was really, really awesome take on the series. I really liked. As far as the systems, the story, I have reservations about certain things in the story, but like. The systems of the game, the fucking meat, the materia system, the ATB was fucking like perfected. The limit or desperation attacks, as they were called before in Final Fantasy VI.
Okay, yeah.
That was perfected. Like the whole limit bar thing, that was so dope. It was so much better than
limit breaks.
Because the desperation attacks are so unreliable in Final Fantasy VI. I've literally seen like, outside of me cheating to do stuff so I can see them. I've seen maybe me actually playing and doing them during a game, maybe 2 characters. And not everybody has one, so some of the characters don't have one because of like Gal, for instance, doesn't have one because he is a blue mage / berserker.
Yeah.
Since he fights like enemies, he doesn't have one. Go-Go doesn't have one because he's a mime. And shit like that. But like I loved how they did the limit break stuff and how you level those up, and then some of the weird shit that happens in the story. It's a really good game.
Oh, and then of course the death of Aerith to begin with. Yeah,
that was interesting.
That hit everybody hard in their feels. Let's be honest.
Not that
and the thing about it too is that whenever I didn't play Final Fantasy VII because I had extended family that was living in Florida, and they're the ones who put me on Final Fantasy VII. And the thing about it is that wasn't even my first RPG. My first RPG was Chrono Trigger.
Great start.
Chrono Trigger. This is before like Square Enix was even a thing, where it was still SquareSoft. Well, I think Final Fantasy VII was still SquareSoft, wasn't it?
Yeah, they didn't become Square Enix till like the 2000s.
Yeah, because even Final Fantasy VIII was SquareSoft too.
Yeah.
But I grew up off of Chrono Trigger, and me and my cousin, like literally, I would come over, spend the night at his house, and we're like, he was probably like 12 years old, I was 8, and he would just literally just watch me just play freaking the shit out of Chrono Trigger, and he was just befounded by how my progression was in the game.
Such a good game.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Very much. That was my first RPG. So whenever I got put on to Final Fantasy VII, it was like a whole brand new thing for me. I was like, what the fuck? There's more than just Chrono Trigger? Oh my god.
I was playing a lot of different stuff at the time because emulation had became really popular in the late 90s. So I was discovering a lot of stuff, a lot of shit that came out in like Japan and shit, or like just like really obscure ass titles.
Like Legend of Legaia.
No. Like, I'm talking about SNES games, not PlayStation games.
Super Nintendo?
Yeah. I was real heavy into that. So like fucking, because you know, game translation patches were becoming really popular too. Like I said, emulation was becoming a big thing. So like playing Terra Enigma.
Such a great game. Oh
Playing
my god, that's such a
fucking
great game.
playing becoming a big fan of Ogre Battle, because I actually own that game.
You told me about Ogre Battle, and I didn't even know what the fuck. I was like, Final Fantasy Tactics?
No, not that
It's like,
one. I'm talking about
it's kind of like it.
I'm
I was
talking
like,
about the
okay.
original Ogre Battle.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
Tactics
yeah.
Ogre. That's a different game. The original Ogre Battle.
Oh, Ogre Battle. Okay.
Tactics Ogre, which is a kind of sequel. They're in the same world. It's yeah. That's the game I told you about. That game. Finding out about playing the Shining Force series. I had never played those games.
Jump into Shining Force, and this was during the whole emulation days.
I never played any Genesis RPGs. I had friends that put me on Earthbound. These are the guys I got really tight with, and all the big emulation stuff. They had a cartridge copy. They actually gave it to me.
Yeah.
I don't have that one anymore. Somebody I let borrow it stole it from me. I ended up getting another one though. But like, I was getting really heavy in RPGs at the time. So like, you know, we find out about Final Fantasy VII, and my first RPG was Final Fantasy 1 on the NES.
Okay.
That was the first game I played that was RPG. But like, it's like we're playing Chrono Trigger and we're playing Final Fantasy 6 and 5. 5 didn't come out here in the States. Got to play that. Was playing the NES version of 3. Playing that. And then you play Earthbound. Got to play Mother 1. That's how I discovered that game. The first Earthbound game, Earthbound Beginnings, Earthbound Zero, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then it's like you go by a friend's house and it's like, oh, we got Final Fantasy 7. Oh man, I hear this is dope. We've been watching him playing it, and like he's doing a battle. He summons Shiva. You're like, dude, this is so dope. Holy shit, this looks so fucking cool. The graphics, man, and like I said, all the systems and stuff, like the materia, and like how that's like an upgrade of the Esper system from Final Fantasy 6, and the characters and all that shit. And I was like, oh man, okay, this is a good game. Good game. Really, really enjoy it.
See, and the thing about it is, like, I watched someone play Final Fantasy 7, right? But that's not even my first Final Fantasy. My first Final Fantasy was 8. Now, I know you have your issues with Final Fantasy 8 and the storyline.
It's not a bad game. I just don't like the ending. That's
Yeah.
really my biggest issue.
Yeah, and I feel that. I still haven't beat the game yet. And I've been working at that since I was, like, fucking 15 years old.
You start, and then you stop.
I mean, I played it hardcore for a hot minute, and then... You know, I had my shit stolen. I'm not going to go into details of that.
Right.
But then I ended up fucking getting a PSP, and then I downloaded the game. Right. And then I played that a little bit until I went into the military, and then I lost my PSP. Now, as a 31-year-old, I got freaking my newest PSP Vita with my fucking PlayStation 4. And now I downloaded both the remastered version on PS4 and the PSP version of Final Fantasy VII, the original. And I'm working on that, and I'm like... It's still such a great game for someone who first got into like RPGs,
right?
Just as much as Chrono Trigger was for someone, or even Final Fantasy VII. And the thing about it is, if we're talking about Final Fantasy to begin with as a franchise game, I don't know how you feel about Final Fantasy 15, but I didn't really care for Final Fantasy 15.
I love that game, but like I've said to you off camera a ton of times, Final Fantasy 15 died on the cross, so Final Fantasy 7 could prosper.
I will agree to that statement.
Everything that Final Fantasy 7 currently is, gameplay wise, and even to a small degree presentation wise, is because of Final Fantasy 15. Like its DNA is all over that game. If you played 15, you see the 7 remake right now. It's literally, every time I look at it, I think to myself, like, Jesus, man, if Final Fantasy 15 would have had a better development process, man, we wouldn't have had all the shade being thrown on it. Because it's a good game, but there's a lot of people that don't like it because of how it was released, how the DLC was presented to us, how the story had changed from the original presentation, which was a more darker, more fucking...
Yeah, it was supposed to be a dark-ass freaking Final Fantasy. It was supposed to literally play on the whole concept of Romeo and Juliet from Shakespeare.
There's a lot of that. We got a little bit of that.
You kind of got it, but you didn't.
Right.
At the same time.
It wasn't a lot, and that sucks, and we should have got more of that. It's not a bad game, though, but it's kind of like that game was a development hell. So I'm not, I grade that game as far as my enjoyment of it and what I think about it is I grade it on the curve personally because I know that it went through so many trials and tribulations to get released, and then like the director who ended up working on the game basically salvaged that game because Nomura, who was the guy, the guy behind Seven, the guy behind Kingdom Hearts, this dude was juggling too much shit at once. And that was probably my biggest issue with Square and their handling of Final Fantasy 15. Knowing that this guy was working on fucking Kingdom Hearts 3, knowing that this guy was secretly, in the background, also working on Final Fantasy 7 Remake. You have him working on this big ambitious title that's shift director, and there's just too much shit going on.
Which threw me for a loop, because whenever I was 18, I was a senior in high school. I remember 15 in the trailer on YouTube, and I watched that shit.
Versus 13.
It was versus 13 at the time, and you really didn't hear a whole lot about Final Fantasy 13 to begin with, but it was all about versus 13.
Everybody was ready for that.
Yeah. And I was so stoked. I don't know how many times I watched the trailer. I was like, this is going to be amazing when it comes out.
I mean, it just dies.
How many years has passed since that shit actually did come out? I went through a whole enlistment waiting on that game. I went through Crisis Core with that game.
Probably
I was playing Crisis Core
Probably the biggest
overseas.
thing is, like, remember when I showed you the episode Do Sky demo of Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah.
And how different it is from the actual game as far as gameplay?
Yeah.
Even that little bit where you're hunting the behemoth, that's a part of the game that made it to the final game. That whole thing even progresses different than the real game does. So, like, that just tells you right there that demo was out.
It was kind of staged. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, that demo was like a good 2 years before the actual release of the game, something like that. And, like, it is drastically different. So you just see that and how much it changed from that to the final release. You can tell just how much shit that game has gone through.
Yeah.
Like, so I personally...
And it all started back when I was like 18 years old.
Right. I personally...
Up to now, like, when did the game actually fully come out? It was like at least 2 years ago, right?
More than that. Maybe 3.
3 years from now?
It's been a while.
So, yeah.
It's been a while. But,
so, at 28. So from 18 years old to 28, that's a whole 10 years.
Yeah,
that whole game
the game was in development hell,
to fucking come out.
The game was in development hell.
And that's my whole big hang up.
That was supposed to be that was supposed to be a PS3 game.
No, I know. And that's my biggest hang up is that you had, since I was 18 years old in high school up to 28 years old as a freaking adult male, then now you finally release a game, but it's not like you had 10 whole years to develop it. And even me, I have my hang-ups on the game. And it's just like, the story was so short. You could literally just blow through that game in like less than 24 hours.
The thing with 15, and the big thing about that is, like, you really have to kind of do the side quests to flesh out that game. But enough about 15. Final Fantasy 7.
Shall we take an intermission? Let our viewers hear the electric sound.
We'll put some more of the beats on.
Yes.
While we take a quick break so we can
fill up the cups.
I gotta get some drink and I gotta piss. So
you got pissed? I got pissed.
We're gonna take a quick intermission. I'm gonna put the instrumentals back on. We will be right back. So we'll see you guys. Hold on. God damn, this beat is smooth, man. This shit is fire. Alright. So we're gonna have a guest in a bit that's gonna chime in. We're gonna talk about some dope beats, some music. So this is probably gonna go a little long today.
All right, it's our first podcast.
Right. It's gonna go a little long.
You'll hold the
Deep-
hip hop,
deep-
electrical,
deep stroking.
experimental side. I'll be the rockhead.
Right. So back with Final Fantasy VII, the remake.
Amazing fucking remake. Holy
If you
shit!
guys
That's
haven't-
probably the only thing I'll say that's good as a remake or video games, not movies, not Ghostbusters.
The game remakes can be subjective. I know.
Yes.
I know a lot of people don't like with lore. Well, other than the Doom and Animal Crossing question. Okay, we'll get to that. Especially that.
Oh,
that
we do
question.
have to get on Animal Crossing. We didn't
No,
get
no, we're gonna address his other question because this is something me and you have discussed a bunch of times.
Doom?
Not Doom. It's another thing. You're gonna like this one. It's a good topic. So with FF7 remake, I really like the direction they're going to flesh out the Midgard section of the game because that's literally like
You don't get a whole lot of
it's like
it.
6 hours.
Yeah.
And like most of that is because you have to go out and grind and
I mean,
level up and shit.
unless you played Final Fantasy VII, right, which you're gonna know the lower slums of Midgar,
Right.
and then if you played
There's-
Crisis
there's-
Core,
there's-
then you
right.
already know pretty much
but
mid-level.
just with Final Fantasy VII, vanilla Final Fantasy VII content, there really isn't much you do in Midgar. There's like
No, there isn't.
nothing. Like it's literally like bombing run, Seventh Heaven, second bombing run.
or
Cloud gets separated from the party. You meet Eris. There's that little bit. You go to Wall Market. You reunite with Tifa. You finish the Wall Market part. After that, the plate gets dropped. Shinra Tower. Beat Shinra Tower. Find out about Sephiroth and Genova. Escape Midgar. That's it.
Well,
That is it.
don't they have the whole little freaking mini game shit? in
No,
Midgar?
that the casino is outside of Midgar.
It is?
Golden Saucer, yeah,
Oh.
man. You don't go to Golden Saucer to I think
I mean,
damn
I
near
know the Golden Saucer
damn near
in Final
dis-
Fantasy
damn
14
near-
online,
damn near Dis 2. Yeah, the Golden Saucer 14 is amazing.
which is great, by the way.
But like they're fleshing that out, so there's more stuff to do. Like there's going to be a battle arena in Midgar in the Wall Market now.
Battle arena.
Yes, like you know.
some gladiator bull?
No, like the one in Golden Saucer, Final Fantasy VII. There's a arena where you can find it. The church, there's that. I didn't mention the church. I just kind of glossed over meeting Eris. I just kind of summarized it, but there really isn't much content if you think about the original Midgar. So they're really fleshing out all the kind of little stuff you do in between. You're gonna have more time to spend with the rest of the members of Avalanche. They're
Well, I
mentioning.
mean, you gathered that a lot, freaking in
Right,
the demo.
right,
Like, you
even
didn't
in the demo.
realize like how much animosity there is between Barrett and freaking Cloud. And
Yeah, you see a little bit of it, but it's just a little bit.
Well, what I'm saying is, in the original, you don't really.
They talk
see that.
shit. They talk shit to each other.
No,
but it's a little
yeah,
bit.
no, but compared to the original versus the remake,
Oh,
you
yeah.
see a lot of shit
because
talking
there's
and a
because
lot of
there's
animosity.
because there's
between
banter.
each other. Yeah,
it's
I know.
not just text.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, like these two really did hate each other, freaking for a hot
Right.
Yeah,
And there's
it
that.
wasn't just shit talking.
There's
Like,
gonna
no,
be
they
that's gonna be
legitimately
really
did not
expounded
agree with each other.
That's really going to be expounded on.
Mm.
They're going to expound on the fact that the Avalanche,
Which makes for great character development.
exactly
Because now you can gather facial expressions and all that jazz because of the CGI involved in it now.
they're also expanding on the fact that Avalanche isn't just Barrett, his three goons, and Cloud. It's literally
and Wedge.
it's literally
And that one hot chick.
entire organization. They just happen to be members of it.
Yeah.
Like you kind of get a tiny bit of that in the original game, and it's easy to gloss over. In this, it's very much explained that no, there's other cells of Avalanche. They are a terrorist organization. There's other cells. Barrett just happens to run one of the cells, and the story is about their personal cell of Avalanche. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a big thing. They're going to go more into stuff with Eris and her connection to the planet, her being an ancient. They're gonna go into some more stuff about Cloud and his hallucinations, and
Cloud.
the Mako poisoning that's fucking with his head that he doesn't even realize. They're gonna go more into that.
That
stuff.
will probably have some connection to Advent Children to begin with.
Not Advent Children, although they're probably gonna do some Advent children-y stuff, but it's gonna be really cool, man. I don't want to talk about it too much because I've seen a lot.
Yeah,
I know.
I
I don't want to talk about too much and spoil it for people who are in the chat watching or anyone who might see this posthumously. But it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
I mean, without a doubt in the mind, though, you should definitely play. If you haven't played Crisis Core yet on PSP, you probably should before playing.
If you can find a way to get a hold of it, if you can get a PSP and get a hold of it, please do. If you're into emulation, PSP emulation is a thing, and it works really well if you have a decent computer. I thought about playing Crisis Core myself.
Oh, such a good game. I actually cried. I cried at the end.
So I have to see. Well, that's that. Now we're gonna take a viewer question because my guy Toby asked a really good one. Okay, so I'm not going to address the Doom and Animal Crossing thing. I'd rather talk about this other thing. Sorry, Toby. This second question you asked is really good. He said, I'd like to ask if you prefer a protagonist to be a custom character where the player can put a bit of themselves in a game or a written character with lore. An example is the protagonist of Neo 1, where you play as William, not Wallace, but William. Remember Neo, you play as William, the white guy.
Okay.
Or and like in Neo 2, where you play as your own custom character. Yes, you have a preset story, but you're yourself. Like
you fully customize your character and
how they look and all that other stuff. And it's like, I mean, you've talked about this before. Like when we
did have discussions on Neo exactly
about
why I don't
Neo
like Neo 1
and
versus
we talked about Bloodborne and like Dark Souls and shit, where you make your own character.
Which in Bloodborne and Dark Souls, your character is part of the story,
right?
On a grander scale, but there's not really much when it comes to your actual story.
I think more so, like in Bloodborne, your character is very involved in the story.
Yes, because technically you're the one. Like if you play the story outright, okay, and there's multiple endings. There's 3.
Oh, hold on. Spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
There's 3 endings. I know about one, the main one, and I know about the second one. So the main one is basically you end the whole freaking Hunter's Dream thing to begin with. The second one is that when you kill the original hunter, that you actually end up becoming the original hunter who is the one in the wheelchair. And basically you welcome in the next freaking person that comes into the dream.
Right, and I remember seeing that when I was watching you stream, and I was thinking to myself, like, this isn't so much a time paradox, but it's literally just a revolving door. It's kind of like the ending in Salt and Sanctuary. Spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1. When you take the bad ending in that game, and you become the nameless god.
Yes.
It's literally the same thing, where it's like, oh, I'm the protagonist, I'm trying to escape this island, I kill the nameless god, but because I decided not to bow down to him, and then I answer some other questions that he asked me differently, I basically take on his role as the nameless god. I kill him, and then I assume his power, and I become the one that's doing this to other people.
See, my ass is like, no, I already know this storyline. I'm jumping
right.
through the
I did it on
hole.
accident when I found it out. I didn't even realize that I was going down that route until it was too late.
I know what's happening. I jump in the damn hole and I go back to the living room.
Right. I took the armor and I killed him, and then I talked to the scarecrow, and then like I immediately get fucking put on the little scarecrow thing and put the armor like just gets on my body. I'm like, oh, I become the nameless god. Fuck. The cool thing about that is you get the armor when you do that. So when you do a new game plus, you have the armor. But addressing that, I don't mind. Me personally, I don't mind having the custom character. My only issue with that is that it's always you're a silent protagonist when you do that. I don't like that aspect of it. I actually preferred playing as William. Not that I don't like Neo 2. I actually prefer Neo 2 over Neo 1. It's a better game. like overall.
I might have to download that then.
Neo 2 was awesome. If I might get the digital download and just give you my copy.
Are you sure?
Because I want some of the DLC and the digital
Oh,
download,
okay.
and I can't get it any other way. So
Yeah.
I might just give you my hard copy of the game that I have.
Oh yeah.
Plus,
man,
it's a
I'm
special edition. Comes with a nice little box. You'll like.
down. I mean, I might throw you some
You'll-
cash.
you'll
for
love it,
too,
man.
So, you know.
But we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I
Fucking nerds and geeks.
I don't mind the nameless protagonist in Neo 2, for instance, because you do have some really cool characterization, and I love how the story works. In that game, you're directly involved with the villain. The villain has killed your mother. You basically become a demon hunter because of it, even though you are a demon or half demon. And I like the way they weave you in Neo 2. They weave you into Japanese history. Like, you're related to this important character. You end up working for Nobunaga. You're best friends with the man who basically unifies Japan and dies, Hideyoshi Toyotomi. You're literally his namesake. He takes a part of your name and makes it his own and becomes Hideyoshi Toyotomi. You're sharing a name with this man. You're like his blood brother. And then like he fucking becomes an evil prick, and then you have to kill him. Like, you're directly weaved into everything. So you're not just like, well, William literally is like, he's involved in things, but he's a side character. Like the game, the history of Japan is progressing without him. In Neo 2, your character is like directly involved in battles and confrontations with characters, and like you're really fucking important. William is literally just like, okay, well, there's some yokai here, and he's killing them, and he's helping out, but this stuff would have progressed regardless of William's involvement.
Yes.
Your character feels more important in Neo 2. That's why I like how that's handled. And Bloodborne's the same way. Your character is very important to the story, the whole hunters thing. Even in Dark Souls, the Ashen ones that you play as in Demon Souls and Dark Souls, the Dark Souls games, you're directly involved with what's going on in the story. And Dark Souls 3, which is the only one I've actually really, really played, your character, even though you're undead, you're riding this purgatory because these kings, these fallen kings, have basically gone rampant, and you have to correct this process. You have to put them back in line. Yeah. And once you do that, you kind of correct things in this purgatory so things can progress like they're supposed to.
And that's one thing I could definitely say that's like very obscure with me with Dark Souls.
And that game has like a million endings.
Yeah. Well, that is there's so much lore, and I mean, believe me, I had issues with what's that game?
The problem with my problem with the lore in the FromSoft games though is that it's not.
It does require you to read
that, and you have to look for it.
Yes.
Like you have to like read these entries, these journal entries, essentially, to discover the lore. Like if you're just playing the game. But I
actually like that though. I like that though, and that game did it perfectly because Bloodborne is the same way too though.
I like it and I don't like it. I like it because like it requires the player to actually get invested. Like, I want to know the story. You have to invest yourself into it to do that.
I mean, it's like tabletop for us at that point, except for it's not someone telling us the story.
On the other hand, I like the narrative to be presented to me, so I can be like, okay, now I see the story. Like I said in Neo 2, you're presented the narrative. Here it is. Now it's up to you if you really want to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I don't like having to search it out and be like, okay, here's a lore with the storyline I'm working with right now, because that's how the FromSoft games works. It's like, okay, I'm playing Dark Souls. It's like, okay, there's this storyline, because there's multiple storylines that you can do all at once with different characters and such. If you just go with the plain regular storyline of your character, it's literally like, okay, you're an Ashen one, you're trying to correct this purgatory that, essentially no one is going to escape from. You're all dead. Everyone is dead that's here. But there's a way of things that needs to happen, and you need to fix it. That's basically the main story. And like that's just Dark Souls 3. I'm not even talking about Dark Souls 1, 2, Demon Souls. I think there's a Demon Souls 2 if I'm not mistaken.
Let's not even talk about King's Quest, because technically Dark Souls and Demon Souls actually derive from King's Quest.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
See, there you go. So there's even more stuff there.
It's not King's Quest. It's something. Shit,
But I don't
can't remember.
mind.
It's an old game for
I don't
PS1.
mind the whole custom protagonist into the story thing. I mean, if you play MMO, that's what you're doing, and MMOs are becoming more like story driven.
Hold on, because I got a rebuttal to that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
You're not. I mean, you're a custom person, but you're not really a custom person.
But you are though.
Yeah, you are. You aren't.
Because technically speaking,
It's like Neo 2, where you're very involved with the story, and things progress because of you. But
because let's go back. Okay,
go
so
ahead,
when I first played Metal Gear Solid 5, which by the way is my fully finished first technical game of Metal Gear Solid. Or
Good game,
Metal
though.
Gear in general.
Good game. Good game.
It is. You know why? Because the first time I played it and it was with you, I was creating my own character, and then we went through the whole first 2 missions, and I told you that I don't know, bro. This guy doesn't seem like Ocelot, even though in this certain instance you would assume it's Ocelot.
Right.
And then as I finished the game, I found out.
Are you talking about the guy in the raps?
Yes. The
Right.
one who's in the hospital bed with you?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't played fucking Metal Gear Solid 5,
3, 2,
please
1.
do not continue. So, as I was saying, you're playing this character, and when you first freaking end up in the hospital, you have to create a custom character for your Metal Gear Solid Online.
Right, but
Well,
that's
why am I doing this in the storyline?
right. It doesn't make any sense.
And I told you.
I remember-
told you.
we were
I
playing-
don't think.
matter of fact-
I'm playing as Snake.
We were doing you booted up the game here. You brought your PS4
Yes,
here, and
yes.
we played it, and we did that, and we were both kind of scratching our heads like, why are they making us do this during the story and not just a separate thing for the online mode?
Why am I not doing this on the Metal Gear Online shit?
Right.
Why am I doing this on Metal Gear Solid?
And then
Story?
when you customize the way your character looks, and then when the game starts,
but then it starts up and you're freaking Big Boss.
right,
Huh?
and you're just like, huh?
Yeah.
Or well, it's not Naked Snake at that point. I forgot his fucking moniker at that
It's
point.
Big Boss. It's Big Boss.
No, because like Big Boss is Naked Snake. You have Liquid Snake, Solid. You have a moniker in that game. I forgot what it is. That was a huge. But yes, it was a huge
What happened? What
spoiler.
did you say?
It was a huge spoiler. Yes, it was.
Yeah, but this is like what 5 years later after
Well,
the
that's
game
why
already
we
came
do
out?
spoiler warnings. That's why we do spoiler warnings. But continue with what you were saying.
Okay, so after I said what I said to both Ray and yourself,
Oh yeah, we did talk to Ray about that.
and Ray kind of let it on. It's like, no, you're on the right path there, guy. I was like,
'Cause he had
oh,
already played it.
shit.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I end up beating the game, and I find out, oh yeah, no, you're not Big Boss. You're just playing Big Boss from the Nintendo version back in the day.
Yeah,
That's who you're playing as.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
right.
motherfucker.
Venom Snake. Thank you. Yeah, because like you find out in when you play Metal Gear and then you play Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, you find out in Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake that the big boss you killed was a doppelganger.
Yeah.
And then of course in Metal Gear Solid you find out that the guy you fought in Metal Gear 2 is also a doppelganger. There's like all these clones of Big Boss, these copycats. And
But the
you
thing
don't-
is,
you don't-
the thing
you don't
is, in
find-
Metal Gear Solid 5, you're not even a clone. You're just someone who's portraying the identity
Exactly.
of Big Boss,
And then,
who
of
just so
course-
happens to be a badass like fucking Big
Of course,
Boss
you
is.
you find out in Metal Gear Solid, well, later on in Metal Gear Solid 4, because they're like, oh, the body of Big Boss, we have it here. He's dead, quote unquote. The true Big Boss, the one you killed in fucking Xanarkin Land, whatever the fuck it's called, Zanzibar Land. That's it. And so they're like, they play with this idea that it's a copy in the first game. You kill the real one in the second one, and then Metal Gear Solid comes out, and they're like, no, the guy you killed in part 2, like we recovered his body somehow, even though he died in the minefield. It should be blown to bits. We can recover his body; it's still intact, and we've cloned him. We've used his genomes to enhance these soldiers, and then you find out later on. Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. And Metal Gear Solid 4, that no, that guy's a fake too. Because Big Boss is still alive. He's been alive this whole time and hiding, and he's been fucking controlling this shit from the shadows. And then he finally, the real Big Boss, the real Naked Snake dies.
Dumb on Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah, exactly. So the guy you killed in 1 was a fake. which is the one from fucking Metal Gear Solid 5, and then there's another fake in Part 2 that dies. I assume that the body that they find is another fake in Metal Gear Solid, and the real one's just been manipulating all these things from the shadows, and then he finally dies from, get this, fucking Fox die. I hate that. I hate the writing in Metal Gear Solid as a whole.
I mean, but
I
come
can't
on
stand
now.
But
come on now.
back
Come
to
on
the
now. Let's go
original-
back. Let's go back.
Let's
Well,
go back
hold
to the
on,
original
hold on.
subject because
Of the
we've
lore-
deviated.
Of the lore,
We've deviated.
Hold on. Of the lore of Metal Gear, right? And freaking how Big Boss operates. Do you not think that wouldn't be plausible?
No,
Exactly.
I don't like
why?
it.
Why not?
I don't like it.
I think that shit would be plausible.
I don't like
because
how-
if you're a secret agent to that extent, yeah, why would you not fucking let people assume your identity?
No, I don't. I don't like all
They
the
even
fucking.
played that out in fucking Metal Gear Solid 5.
I do, and this goes into my slight haterism
To Hideo?
for Kojima as a writer. He does a lot of batshit shit. And he pulls a lot of stuff out his ass, and people hail him as a great writer.
But I think
don't
it
like
is good, though.
I like a lot of. He does.
I think it is good though.
He
You
does
know
a
why
lot
I think
of
it is? You know why I think it is? Is because it's like almost improv. Like whenever
I don't
I play
like
my
that shit, man.
when I play my tabletop shit. When
I
I'm a
don't-
GM and I'm playing my
I
tabletop
don't
shit and I
like
do some
that.
straight up improv shit, it does blow you guys for a loop in its flavors.
It can be cool, but I don't like that shit when you're trying to establish this long lore.
Yes, I agree. I agree
My
to that
problem with
extent,
the
yes.
Metal Gear Solid storyline is that he constantly retcons things that he establishes.
Yes, he does.
I do not
I'm
like
not gonna
that.
lie on that. Yes.
It's one of the reasons why I don't like the writing in Dragon Ball. Because of Toriyama, ass pull stuff all the time. I don't like that kind of writing. I like when stuff is planned out and structured.
Agreed.
But back to the custom protagonist thing.
I mean, but that's what I'm talking about, though.
yeah.
You technically customize a protagonist that is technically instilled
Right.
just deep into the
I
story.
like the idea of that.
Yes.
So
I
don't-
thought Metal Gear Solid 5 was a great way to customize your character for online play,
I like
but
that.
at the same time still making your character viable to the actual story.
I like that. Like, fucking. Oh man, this is why we don't leave fucking shit open. I don't mind that in MGS5. So I'm not gonna go into why I just dislike Kojima's writing. Because I enjoy
let's be
MGS5
honest.
for what
Metal Gear Solid 5 was a great ending for Kojima to begin with.
Yeah,
That was a great ending.
For what it is, I enjoy that game. But back to the custom protagonists in gaming. I'm not sick. That was from swallowing that fucking drink wrong.
I wouldn't mind if I was, in front of a sick person with COVID-19. Zombie virus, let's go!
Stop it. That was from drinking that drink wrong. Yes, Toriyama does forget things, but I don't like when a custom protagonist is done where you're just kind of there. Like,
but William Wallace was kind of just there.
Yeah. But he does have his own story. Like, William's story is literally a revenge story.
I said William Wallace like he was fucking.
It'd be funny if his last name was William, but Wallace. But he is literally the only reason he's in Japan. Not that he has already been there before, but he's there to get revenge so he can get back his spirit that he literally has grown up with. Like, he's on a revenge story. So him being involved in all these Japanese history stuff, it's just it's circumstantial. He's doing this because they're going to help him get to that guy, which makes sense. And then, of course, he resolves the issue in England because he's English. Well, he's technically Welsh, but he's from England. And he fucking goes after the guy like, hey, I need to stop all this because I don't want my country to be ruined by this war over this Amrita that's literally tearing apart Japan. And then he goes after the Spanish girl because he's a man of honor and he wants to help his friend Hanzo, who he's become great friends with. He's like, also like, hey, I'm gonna help my guy. But I'm gonna resolve my issue first because that's more important, and that's his story.
That is some
and
gangster shit.
That's great.
Yeah. You don't involve yourself in problems unless you solve your own first.
Exactly.
Then you help
And Neo 2, on the other hand, because your character is essentially just a mercenary, you you get involved in everything that's going on with the Japanese history because, like I said, you're a mercenary. Like, you're literally just doing things. You're just living. Like, you don't know who this guy is who killed your mother. All right. You don't know who this guy is who killed your mother. You don't know who. You're just involved in stuff, and so like essentially, you just go on and you fucking just get involved in everything just out of the matter of existing. Like, okay, here it is. I'm looking for this guy. Yes, but like I don't know who he is. I barely remember him. So literally like, okay, I'm just doing stuff and I'm helping my friend out. I already hunt demons or yokai anyway. So I'm helping this guy who I befriended, and I get more and more involved in the political process of everything with Nobunaga and serving him and all this other shit. And then once Nobunaga dies, I essentially am my friend's right-hand man. And then I see that he is becoming evil, and then I turn on him. So that happens, blah, blah, blah. I won't go into any more than that, because I've already explained too much of Neo 2's story. So I don't mind when a protagonist that's a custom protagonist is deeply involved in the story. I enjoy that. It's when the story is just like super ambiguous and you're like just kind of there, that I'm kind of like, I'd rather have a fucking like actual character at that point because I want to have some characterization. In Neo 2, you have some characterization. In the Dark Souls games, particularly Bloodborne, more so than Dark Souls as a series, you have very defined characterization. So like it's not just like, I love Dark Souls, a great game, but it's basically like you're like any of the other Ashen ones. You meet a bunch of people that are like that, like you, that are these wraiths that can just revive and
some of them just go into this like
very
physical purgatory where they never even get to the extent that
one,
you do.
One of the guys that you meet in Dark Souls 3 literally like just like basically gives up because he's like, I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to keep dying again and again. So he just sits in the fucking shrine.
I mean, it's very much in all the Dark Souls though.
Right.
In Dark Souls 1, when you first wake up, you're in the cell. And there's this knight that helps you get out,
right?
And then you end up becoming more than what most of the cats that you saw in the
I
same
think,
cells.
I think the protagonists in the previous Dark Souls games are different. Whereas, I mean, you're all playing wraiths. You're all playing Ashen ones. All of them are dead. But I think like in Dark Souls 1, for instance, I think it's a little bit different role from the Ashen one in part 3.
Yeah.
As far as like what you're doing, because this all takes place in the same world.
True, but hear me out. I think the Dark Souls games are good because
they're great.
And this is a thing though. It will not as a gameplay aspect, but more or less as a philosophical aspect where when you wake up in the cell in Dark Souls 1, you're just as much as the same as any of the other freaking undead that are in those same cells in that prison little freaking plot on that thing. But you carry yourself further than most of the other ones. And I think that speaks more volumes than most games, where you're no different than the others. But you progress to more extents than the others that did just sit in the same cell as the other ones did. You get what I'm saying on that?
Yeah.
That's why I like the Dark Souls games, and that's literally what, because in tabletop, how many times in tabletop were you just a regular ass freaking mercenary who is a class of the wizard or a class of fighter and all that jazz, you know? And that's the same thing that I preach in a lot of like our gaming tabletop shit. I don't want you guys to just be regular ass people. I want you guys to be heroes in my games. You know, your own personal heroes, more like.
Right. Well, you know, tabletop's a little different because you know you have a lot. You have all the control over what your character is.
True. And even at that, if you have a GM, that wants you to strive,
your character's involvement in the story, because your GM generally will plot a general storyline unless you're running a module where they have a storyline already.
Yes.
If they're doing a custom storyline themselves, they already have an idea where they want the characters to go, right? And so a good GM is steering the party in a certain direction. Now, you as the player can be like, okay, well, I don't want to do that. And like, say when JT is running a game for us, I very much go against what he's doing.
Yes, you do.
As much as I can.
I mean, you go against a lot of GMs on what they're doing.
Well, you know, you know how
you're very much a rebel.
You know how I play. So, but him in particular, I very much go against what he wants to do storyline wise because I know how I want my character to play. Generally, I play a fucking kind of a very cynicist character.
Yeah, very cynical. Like you don't trust a lot of people, and if you do, it's probably like one character.
Or a straight coward, because I myself am very, very much a pessimist and a very cynicist, and to a degree, I'm not gonna say I'm a coward because what I've done in the past, obviously I'm not cowardly, but
you're gonna choose a better route as far as violence goes.
Exactly.
Your first route is not violence. Your first route is
never,
talk your way
never,
out of it. Yeah.
Never. That's me in real
You're
life.
very Han Solo-ish, actually.
That's me in real life. I do not like having to resort to violence unless I absolutely have to. I generally run characters that do that.
I mean, if anything, I think I'm more of a Chewie than you.
Although in this mage game, my character's super aggressive. Like he'll fight at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, it is very different than normal,
different.
but whatever.
It's different what I usually do. Yeah. I usually don't play the aggressive guy, but you have a lot more control over what you want to do in a tabletop setting. You really don't have. Generally, you don't have that in games. Although there are games where you can do that, you have super flexibility. BioWare games are a great example. Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Jade Empire. Yeah. The Knights of the Old Republic games. You have a super control over what you do with your character. I love those games. Those are like, if you make tabletop a video game and take away a lot of the tabletop elements, that's what they are. You fucking Sekiro, you're kind of playing a protagonist though. I mean, you have control over the ending, but
that's a game I didn't.
For the most part, that character has a set character.
Yeah. He has a set character. He has a set freaking role in the actual like storyline.
What you're talking about, Toby? What you asked us about is more like the custom pro tags, and like I said, I don't mind them. I'm not gonna say personally I don't prefer them. I prefer to have a characterization. Like I like Sekiro because you have a character. He has a story. You don't have to worry about kind of coming up with something. But I don't mind custom characters. A good example, if you've ever played, for example, Wasteland 2.
I don't think I played Wasteland.
I gotta show it to you sometime. It's from the guy who is behind the original Fallout games.
Okay. Wait, no, you did show me.
I did show you. Yes.
It was a very RTS game.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It's top down action.
Yeah.
But it is turn based.
Yes.
It's the old Fallout system of turns where you have actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you told me. It's pretty much like the old school Fallout.
Those characters that you make, literally, when you make a character, you literally pick a portrait for what your character looks like.
Yeah.
And then you it literally says it gives you a space to make a backstory. You customize all their stats, how the character plays, everything. Super customizable. The only characterization your character has is that they're part of the Rangers, Desert Rangers. That's it. You come up with everything else. You have to literally, if you want to role play these characters within the confines of this game, you have to come up with everything yourself.
Xbox exclusive, wasn't it?
No, that's on PC. That's on the Xbox One. I don't know if on PlayStation, but I know it's on those two.
Yeah, it's for probably not on PlayStation because I think I looked it up and I was like, fuck.
It's great though. It's great.
But I mean, to go off of Toby's question is that I don't mind it.
I know you love
it because that's my whole thing. Is like I'm not emotionally and mentally invested in a game unless I create my own character and how I want to go. Because it feels like I am putting more
Miss
into
Vids
it.
are Shui. Welcome to the channel. What's good?
What's going on, man?
Welcome to the podcast.
But as I was saying, I love the fact that you can if you got a preset storyline, right? And you have to create this character for the storyline, then yeah, I want to create my own character, because why are you going to let me dictate on how this character looks? Like, no, I want that.
Right.
This is the same thing why, like, I didn't really get into GTA games. Same reason why I didn't really get into Neo. The same reason why, I mean, granted, Metal Gear Solid 5. That's where it's like, okay, I'm playing this character, but I'm also have to create my own character on what he looks like, and then you tell me at the end, no, actually, you're not Big Boss. I'm like, oh, I fucking knew it, motherfucker. I'm not. I'm actually this Asian-looking guy who got turned into a Caucasian man. Word.
You're trans. Let me stop. Let me not go down that road.
No, we already passed the Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so okay. I just had Miss Vids here ask me about she wants us to talk about Animal Crossing. She wants us to make the conversation on. The problem with that is
It's Harvest Moon for kids.
Miss Vids Arshway. I know you sleep. Who is this? Is this someone I know? Sing a song, Sexual Chocolate. Who is this? You know where you sleep? What the fuck?
Is this Shannon?
This is somebody I know. Sing a song. I can sing a song. I can sing a song. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, I can sing a song.
What do you sing? What are we singing? What are we singing? It better not be some bullshit fucking prog rock.
Duncan Sheik? That's I mean, I was gonna go popish with it. You are
my fire,
the one
desire. I want it that way.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a mistake.
Tell me why.
I never wanna hear you stay.
I want it
That way. All right. Oh, Jesus. I do love me some NSYNC though, bro.
I mean, yeah, bro. I did do a cover one time at an actual public bar. A lot of people didn't receive that well in Texas.
Justin Timberlake is literally one of my favorite artists, bro. I fucking love some Justin Timberlake, bro. Fucking. You are my sun. You are my earth.
I mean, I'm a Robin Thicke kind of guy.
Robin Thicke's that too.
Yeah.
You didn't know the ways I love you. No. I fucking love JT. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about.
Animal Crossing. Harvest Moon for kids.
I have no clue about Animal Crossing.
I don't know.
I've never played any of the games. I know that the new Animal Crossing game is super popular.
I mean, what is it about?
I know there's a million memes on the internet about Isabelle hanging out with the Doom guy and them being best buddies.
So
it's fucking hilarious.
I'm just like, what?
Inside of You.
Inside of You. I can sing Inside
I'm not
of You.
singing that shit because I don't know what it is. This guy might know.
I mean, if you know my Instagram
with
very
gyrating.
well, wait, what?
With gyrating.
With what?
Gyrating. You know.
Gyrate. What
Yeah.
the fuck is gyrate?
You know, just,
Oh, that shit. Wait, is this Kim? This sounds like Kim.
It sounds like some Kim would say. I don't know who this person is, but they're hilarious. I'm completely thrown off my game here. I wanted to talk about something else. Oh yeah, we wanted to talk about music, but Will's on the phone, doing a fucking.
We want to talk about music, but Will's on the phone right now with important business, so we're gonna have to hold off.
He's talking business, so we can't have him on the phone right now. But we can talk about music a little bit.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Oh, someone hit the fucking keep the change. Keep the change. Yes, sir. One of my my sound fucking file things. That's awesome. Thank you very much. So let's talk about the new album. Let's talk about Logic's new album.
Okay.
Let's talk about Logic's new album. So if you came in earlier this stream, I was playing stream. I was playing our boy Electric Sound's brand new mixtape, called Past Reflections. We're playing some songs from it, and
yours truly is on a track.
I don't know which one. We probably played it.
I mean,
it's
I have to look it up.
I went through the whole track list
Because I mean,
already.
we made this song like a while back, so
Right. So did you just do what, like, as far as chords and stuff? What did you do? Like, did you just lay down?
I mainly do what I normally do, and it's lead stuff. As far as like when we actually made this song, I don't know, because
You don't know how you use the recording.
Huh?
You don't know how you used the recording for what you did, what you laid down.
Well, see, the thing is that when he usually puts my song on an album,
Right. Was it like a melody, or did you just lay down some like kind of background type stuff this time? Because I know you do different stuff depending on the song.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I'm a freestylist, like you know, Hook and or sorry, excuse me, not you, like Logic, Williford in there, and Mike Jones up in, you know, freaking somewhere here in Cleveland. I don't know where he's at now, but
Well, you talking about Mike C?
yeah, Mike C. Sorry. How you guys are freestylists for rap game, right?
Right.
I'm a freestylist for freaking guitar stuff, so it's literally all lead freestyle. And how our recordings go is usually he builds the whole thing of it, what he wants,
Right.
and then he sends it to me, and then I will sit there for
However
anywhere
long.
between 2 to 3 hours, and I'll create a lick. And
Okay,
then-
so Logic said you played a great loop sample cut.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I mean, I think I'm mediocre at most, but
I've heard of some of the stuff you do. It's nice, and I especially like what Logic does with some of the stuff you did. I personally would like to see something where you just play out the whole melody for a song, and he builds the song around what you do melody wise.
Which we have done that. It's just finding the audience. I think that's what we're looking for. And the thing about it is it's kind of hard in this generation where like most of the kids these days, they like the EDM shit, and
Right.
they like the basic, what used to be hip hop is now trappish shit. And
it depends on where you're at.
Yeah,
It's a
I
regional
agree.
thing.
I agree. I think most of our like the music that me and Santini make, or Logic, excuse me, the music that we make is for either a whole different generation, which is where we come from,
Right.
where it's very they appreciate more of the artistry involved, or these kids or cats that you would never fucking think that they fucking listen to that kind of shit, you know, where they're very eclectic when it comes to the music.
The track was, I guess I would track. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to find that and see if I have it. I mean, you know, but I've noticed lately with Logic, he's doing a lot of concept stuff. So I like personally like.
You mean contemporary shit? Where
No.
it's
He's done a lot of concept stuff lately. Like he'll do just one genre, and he'll do a whole tape, a whole mixtape that is that.
Yeah.
So like
this album that he made so far, I can tell he
it's
went
very
back.
jazzy.
Yeah,
It's
he
very
went back
boom
to the
bap. It's
jazz,
very
the boom
jazzy.
bap,
It's
the
great.
whole old school that brought me into it to begin with. And I told him, it's like, dude, like, yeah, this is a great album because of you went back to the original shit that I wanted to.
Right.
You're not totally into the whole EDM thing anymore, which if you want to go EDM, that's fine. Because you know why? That's still a open avenue for him in this day and age.
Personally, and I'm not trying to talk
It's not
shit.
my thing.
Right.
I don't care.
I'm not
for
trying to
you.
talk shit about you, Logic. I personally like.
Never talking shit about you.
I like the versatility, but I would like to see him focus more in one area. I like him to be multifaceted. You know, that's great. That's something you need as a person doing the production side of music.
Yeah.
You need to have flexibility. You need to be able to do multiple
You need
things.
to be able to do almost everything. And,
Right.
and I've learned that even as a guitarist. Like,
Right.
I hate country. But God knows we live in Texas. I probably should learn some country shit.
Shannon just jumped in. Yes, this is live. We're live. We're online.
We're not. We're just a perceivement in your own mind.
Nah, bro, this ain't an illusion. Bitch, this is reality. What's good?
But I mean, as I was saying, like, when I do tracks with Logic, it's literally like I'm not planning for anything. He's literally the one that builds the album at the end of the day. So if he decides to put my track or the track that we built to put on that album, then I'm like, okay, yeah, man, like whatever. So I mean, God knows we have a whole lot of like tracks that me and him have developed that aren't even probably won't ever see the day of light.
Bro, literally the other day it was me, Will, Depress, and his homie Mo, and we were sitting there, and Will was playing not only stuff he had, but a lot of side projects that him and Skimp did. Yeah. You do not know how many times I heard Depress say that night, bro, why isn't this on a mixtape? Why aren't you putting this stuff out?
And you're talking about Will, right?
Yes.
See, and that's the thing. When I first started in this game, there was many tracks that Will showed me, and I would just start like whittling away at Elizabeth, my electric. And he's like, man, I like that. I was like, bro, let's fucking work on this shit. Let's throw it out.
We're gonna record
like, let me put a fucking main melody on this shit, and you throw it the fuck out.
Right? We got equipment.
I don't want royalties. I don't want fucking money for this shit. No, just let it be heard. So, you know, I mean, but that's the thing about me as a lead guitarist is that I'm not here to try and make money. I just like what I do when it comes to the music stuff. Like,
if the money comes, the money comes.
Popularity. If you guys end up liking the music and you guys end up like following me or Electric Sound or any of the cats that I work with, like, then I'm golden at that point. I don't need your money when it comes to the music thing. I just love, I would love the fact that you hear it and you like it. That's really it for me. Although, real talk, I would love to do some more open venue shit, like doing covers and all that jazz, and eventually end up making my own music.
I want to see a situation where, and we haven't done this enough, like in an intimate setting, like at the house, enough, where we have Santini spinning, and then maybe you playing along with stuff, like stuff that's original.
We did do that once or twice, but I guess the company that we had wasn't appreciative of it. Right. And that's me trying to be polite about that. So.
Exactly. Well, like one time, like remember we had that party at Kim's house and Santini was spinning?
Yeah. Again, we had company that wasn't appreciative of it much.
And then, like, I can think of one person in particular that was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're playing this stuff right before I leave. I know you know who I'm talking about. No, not Kim. Not Kim. Other person that was there. The person was there. We're not going to say her name on live.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I probably do.
You know what I'm talking about. Friend, my friend.
Ah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she was leaving. So whatever.
You funny. But
well, who said what?
The people in the chat. Shannon's here. This Miss Vids chick, she's fucking talking shit. It's fucking hilarious.
Who the fuck? Bless these nuts. Bless these nuts in your mouth. I'm playing.
So, we got any more viewer questions? I think I'm gonna move to another topic. But if we got any more viewer questions, I'd like to talk about something else. If you guys got anything.
I use horse shampoo. If that's what you're asking.
I just use it's Kim. She's talking shit.
Kim. Of course it is.
Fucking Kimberly.
Oh yeah.
Don't stop
Don't
it.
That.
Stop it. You stop it right now, sir. We're not gonna start that shit on the damn podcast.
I use horse shampoo.
Yeah, you see Astra has luxurious hair. I have dreadlocks, so they're not luxurious at all. They look nasty and nasty. Looks like a spider on top of my head. Which is cool, you know. Hey, spiders are cool. Do you have a hell no, I don't have a heart-shaped bed.
Heart-shaped bed?
But I could get one.
I certainly don't.
She did that. Yeah, I'm not doing the moan. Down. No, she did it. She did it in chat. God, if Kiala was here, it'd be terrible. Jesus. Oh man, but
I mean, Kim's my girlfriend, bro.
I think her husband would have something to say about that.
No, I didn't mean it like girlfriend, like girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Like girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Yes, bitch. That's me. I don't know why. A lot of females want to be my friend. I don't know why. They want to tell me their problems.
Because they love you, man.
Gay.
You're a handsome man.
Gay.
You're a handsome guy, man.
I'm alright.
They want to rub their fingers through your hair and talk to you about what they got going on. Except Shannon. She just wants to stomp you in the nuts.
Who?
Shannon.
Oh, Shannon?
She just wants to stomp you in the nuts, bro.
I mean, I would too if I had to like bend down a knee and freaking kiss someone's hands. So,
We're not gonna talk about that. That happened.
There's video of that too.
Any comments on PS5? That's a question. All right. Kim.
Any
We'll see you
comments
later.
in general?
Love you, lady.
Like, do you want to say some obscenities to me? That's fine.
No. Logic is actually he's totes gay.
Wait, what?
Okay, hold on. Let me go up. That was.
I know. A certain friend of ours would like to say some obscenities.
Shannon said you were totally gay.
I'm totally gay.
Yeah. She said from all that.
She would know.
How?
I don't know.
You just wanted to be a smartass?
Yeah. I don't know.
Logic asked us how we feel about that. She said she hates you. Logic said, asked about the PS5. What is our thoughts on it?
PS5? I didn't hear a whole lot, but I'm kind of like, why? Why PS5? Why?
Well, I
just bought the PS4 like 4 years ago.
Yes, sir. The check is in the mail. That had to be Logic. So, PS5. How do I feel about it? My thoughts on it. I've been keeping up with it. There's just not much information. We don't know. We basically just have specs. I want to see some games.
I thought it was gonna be called the Scorpio or some shit like that.
That's the Xbox, sir.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry. I think that's
gay.
That's the
Why
Xbox.
are you going Scorpio?
That's the Xbox One, and that's the project name.
Is it coming out in the year of the Scorpio?
No, that was the project name for the Xbox One.
Scorpio?
I have a model. I have a Xbox One, the Scorpio edition.
Why is it called Scorpio?
That's the project name. Just like the Wii U's name, or the Wii. Technically, the project name for that was the Dolphin. That's just the project name. That's all it is.
See, now I just got like a dolphin.
The new Xbox.
It's all in the reflexes.
The new Xbox project name was the Scarlet. So there, it's called the actual name of the system is the Series X. God, we have nothing to say about Animal Crossing because we've never played the game. Stop asking us about it. I'm sorry.
Harvest Moon for children.
I don't even think it's like Harvest Moon.
It's not. You can't farm and freaking raise animals.
I think you can farm.
So it's Harvest Moon for children.
KS, my guy. Old school viewer. I gotta shout out my boy KSM.
Okay, what's
my
up, man?
fucking dude. What up, dude? We're recording a podcast. Welcome. If you have any questions, please ask.
Yes, please.
We'll try to we'll try to discuss them there.
Something controversial at least, because I'm at that mode now.
Yeah, you get
please ask me something.
Little drink in the system. We're a little tipsy.
Please ask me on my thoughts on freaking feminism.
But back on what the fuck was I just talking about?
Scorpio.
Not
Scorpio, but Dolphin.
Nowhere with
The
you.
project names. So as for the PS5, I know Astro hasn't heard a lot about it, but there's just not enough information for me to get a really
I mean, I've heard about the PS5, but I'm kind of like, why though?
A real informed opinion. There's just not a lot. All we've literally have our specs.
I mean, these console companies making these consoles, it's kind of almost turning into Apple phone now. What are you adding that's gonna freaking improve my gaming?
It's been a few years.
I mean, unless you're telling me that I'm able to put on this entire headset and completely delve my consciousness into a fucking game.
I'm not fucking with the VR MMOs.
Then why the fuck are you making a PS5?
That's you, man. I don't want Sword Art Online.
Well, I'm not talking about Sword Art Online. I'm talking about Final Fantasy 14 Online.
No, I'm just saying I don't want.
Me and a cat on Final Fantasy 14
you
Online. We're
filthy
talking about
animal.
the SOA shit, right?
I don't want no Sword Art shit, bro.
Or the SAO shit. And
no.
I was telling him, I was like, yeah, bro, like that whole concept's great. Like,
fuck that.
If SAO freaking
they can reprogram your brain and shit, fuck that. No, I would never dive into that shit.
About that, but, yeah.
That shit scares me.
But
that shit legit scares me, bro.
I mean, I'm not scared. I would rather die in a Final Fantasy world than freaking die in this world. This world is lame.
No, I'm talking about the fact that they can reprogram your brain. Like that's the shit I'm scared about.
Yeah, but they didn't do that in the first season. Of Sword Art Online.
They tried to do that in the second season now.
Yeah, I know, but that was second season, not first season.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, there's some weird shit.
First season, they obviously didn't learn their lesson.
No,
That's
yeah.
really what it is.
But back to the PS5. It's just specs right now. It's basically just a high end PC. Oh, not even high end PC.
No,
a
because-
mid range PC.
Yeah.
Because
Because
like
consoles will never amount up to a
right.
PC.
I mean, that's obvious, but like
Yeah.
what they're doing right now, and I've been saying this since the Xbox 360. Eventually, consoles are going to go the way of PC gaming, where you're literally just incrementally upgrading it every few years, like every 2-3 years. It's going to be a thing.
And all you're doing is just throwing your money away when you should just get a PC. I mean, real talk. I mean, yeah, it's going to cost more in the end run, but you're
because-
going to save more in the long run.
Well, KS, I'm not going to get either of those this year because I'm probably going to be broke and I won't be able to afford it. But if I can afford one, I'm going to get the Series X because I like the services that Xbox provides. Oh, my boy Weideman is here. Hell yeah.
John?
What up, bro?
What's up, my guy?
So, I'm going to get the Series X. I like how Microsoft presents their online service as a service. I like the things they do with it. I feel that Sony's online service is very bare bones as far as things they allow you to do with the OS in their consoles. Maybe that will improve with PS5, but from PS3 to PS4, I have not enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed the 360, the Xbox One. Although I did enjoy the PSP a lot, but so yeah, that's there's a lot of more technical stuff there. I was able to do shit with my PSP that I couldn't do as far as modding and things of that nature. So that doesn't really count. But as far as how the dashboard works, what I can do with the dashboard, things I can search, things like that, I've always preferred, not always, but I've preferred generally from 360 onward what Microsoft has done with their platform. So if I get anything, it's going to be a Series X. All right, so we got a couple of other questions here. Let's see.
Let me guess. One of them is, why are you gay? From
No, it's
someone
not.
who starts with an S.
It's not her. Actually, Shannon's asking. Thank you, bro. I'm getting
It's
drunk.
okay. It's okay.
Getting drunk.
This is
She
like my third
asked
glass, so.
Apple or Android,
Android.
and she said she would totally do Sword Art Online. Android. Me personally, I don't support Apple products. I don't.
It's too expensive. For what?
Outside of that, for me, for Apple products, I don't, and this is the main reason I don't support Apple products. I don't like that they have this singular format that they use as far as audio files and video files. I don't like that. They force that upon you. I like a more universal format that PC uses where you have a bunch of different things you can use. I don't like how iTunes work. If you have iTunes on your computer, if you're not using just the OGG files that iTunes uses for the audio files for your iPod or any Apple products, you have to convert all your MP3s over, which means copies of all your music to convert to work on Apple products. I do not like that shit.
And here's something as a artist about the Apple product. Like, okay, so Logic can definitely freaking vouch for me on this as far as the interest rate when it comes to you as a starting artist throwing your music on the Apple Store and you have to pay interest to it because it's a different it's basically you're paying for the marketplace more or less.
Right.
And that's garbage because if I could throw my shit up on Bandcamp or SoundCloud and you pay through my own personal account for my music that is downloaded through SoundCloud, then that's that. Why do I need Apple Music to freaking take interest on that shit?
The positive about Apple Music, and this is kind of bullshit, is because it's on Apple Music. Like your shit'll get quote unquote promoted, but if you don't
really?
if you don't have a following, that's not gonna happen anyway.
Exactly.
So you might as well do it independently through a Bandcamp, through a SoundCloud,
through YouTube, through any other different kind of social media than Apple.
Exactly.
That's why I don't care for Apple, because it's not for the no-name musician, the no-name artist. It's literally for people who got money already.
Basically for the indie artists. You gotta have some kind of established fucking established constituency.
Yeah.
Basically,
and even at
you have
that,
to have an established fan base.
even at that,
if you wanna throw
why
your shit
would
on
I
there.
still get Apple Music even at that? Because
At this point, you might as
at
well
that
just.
point, you're just upcharging my viewers and my actual fans.
Honestly though,
So-
these days you might as well just throw your shit on fucking not SoundCloud but Spotify.
yes,
instead of
yes,
Apple.
which
You're not gonna make any.
Logic has done.
You're not gonna make any money really because
No, of course not. But you're getting viewers.
Exposure.
You're
Exposure.
getting
Second.
listeners.
You're getting
So-
exposure. So and you're not getting charged for it.
No.
And that's the best part.
I mean, the only thing you're doing is paying for your own music to be on there. Really.
That's it, and that's like a one-time charge if I'm not mistaken, right?
You might have to ask Logic.
I have to ask him. He'll be more informed about that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got another question here. This is from. We already answered Shannon's thing, KS's thing. Let's see. KS has another question for us. Do you think Google gets Stadia to the level of competition of Microsoft/Sony, or do you think they'll eventually drop it like Google Plus? The Google Stadia, which is the streaming system that they're using. Do you know about it?
No, this is new for
Okay,
me.
so basically the Google Stadia is a completely online streaming game system. You literally download, it literally streams games from a cloud and you play them. Me personally, I don't think it goes anywhere. I think it's very gimmicky. I don't think that we have the infrastructure in the Western world. Like in Japan, this would work because their internet is stupid crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But
for someone who's lived in Japan for a minute.
yeah, it's stupid crazy out there. It could work there. In the Western world, we just do not have the infrastructure to support the Stadia being popular. I've seen people that got the Stadia and who like it. I have a friend slash musician, my boy Red Hood, aka Mr. Wilson, guy that I've been following for a long time. That's a rapper. He supports the Stadia. He loves it. I have to check out some of his streams because he's streamed NBA 2K on it. He enjoys it, but I personally just don't like the idea of it. I don't like cloud gaming. Certain parts of a game being downloaded from a cloud while you have a hard copy or a digital copy of said game on your platform of choice, I don't have a problem with. But just completely streaming something from a cloud, you have to have superb internet for that, and most people don't. So I don't see it as something that can be sustainable in the future. But I don't know if Google drops it. I mean, I think they will personally, because they've done a lot of things outside of the search engine that just has not made the money. Even YouTube is literally hemorrhaging money every month. Like YouTube is not profitable for Google at all.
No, you're better off making your own freaking profile.
No, I mean seriously, like the YouTube platform is not profitable for Google as a company.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah.
It's a stepping stone, though.
No, I'm like for artists, yes, but I'm saying like as for the actual corporation of Google,
I mean,
they're
your
not making
fellow
money off
artists
of
there
YouTube.
Will be.
Indeed.
Incredibeats, what up, my boy? Incredibeats in the background there. Actually, we're gonna get something. We're gonna get you to
Here, go ahead,
talk
bro.
about
Take my
something.
seat, man. Nice and warm for you.
And we're gonna
Here, Astro.
actually we're gonna get you to address something. Actually, we're gonna double back to a music question here. If you could take a seat, sir. You about to head out?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Cool. My boy Incredibeats here. Incredible, what's going on? Welcome here to the stream and the podcast. Yes, he is. He is. So actually, Will, and this is something I want you to speak on. As far as indie artists and putting your music out there and stuff. We know like Logic has been real fucking busy, adamant about putting his stuff out there. How do you feel personally, as far as being an indie artist and putting your music out there and kind of building a platform for yourself?
It's actually a great question there, my good sir, Hookfin Exevius 86 of the gaming platform universe. It's a great question, brother, and it's a very strong, heavy question. You know what I mean? All day, brother. Respects. So, we ask ourselves, different things that we're chasing in life, man, and experiences with our passion and our confusion where we're going with our passion, right? and what the universe gives us as far as the path or the actual. Let's see here. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a little bit off the drink. Being from Slow Throat, got a little history with being throat, so I like to, sit back and enjoy the moment. But my good man here gave me a very deep question, so give me a second to go ahead and answer that question with the best of my abilities. It's all about insight, man, and insight within yourself, man. And I believe that it's a conflict. It's a spiritual conflict within yourself to make the money or go for what you know. Or, and I kind of skew my own words and my own thoughts because I'm an artist and my poetry kind of gets in the way a little bit. Shout out to Santini a little bit. What's going on, Santino? Is he still in the chat?
Yeah, he's still here.
Yo, my brother. Okay, so with the music, as far as it goes with chasing your passion, bro, you just got to do it, man. Because at the end of the day, it's all about time. We can't reverse it, right?
Right.
We can't sit back and ask him to give us a forgiveness. It's like the game. We can't reset. We can't press select, start, A, B, A, go back.
Right. There's no extra lives.
We can't do it, So we got to be real with ourselves because time waits on no man. So we got to, and it's the constant battle as far as regular relationship, life, livelihood, especially considering the circumstances that you're in. If you have kids, if you have an old lady that's hounding you about your video, and it just so happens that I'm blessed to be in a position that I can spend time on my craft. So get a little bit more time, and I know Santini will understand that. Just like my boy Astro is being a musician, fellow musician myself, himself. Which I need you to go ahead and lay down that riff, bro. I need you to lay down that riff. It's a beautiful conflict, bro.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful conflict.
I know me being on the outside looking in, watching you guys create, when I finally kind of stepped into that creator pool myself, just doing the gaming content, and like I always told myself, like, I don't want this to be a job. This is gonna be a hobby for me. I'm not trying to make money off this. I have made some cash, people donating and things of that nature, but I don't want to make this my job because I don't want to hate it, because it's I don't want it to become work. And I've seen when it becomes, when you want it to become work, not that you're not passionate about it or dislike it, but it's hard to maintain that creative juice and then also say like, hey, I'm going to be making money off this. What can I do as far as what can I do that can be marketable, but also something I can enjoy? And I've seen you struggle with it. I've seen Santini struggle with it a lot because I've been around him more as far as the production thing more than you have. More than I've been with you. And I've seen Astro struggle with it where like he'll lay down something and then he's like, well, I don't like how this sounds after the fact. With Santini, he'll do something with it. Not to shoot, I'm not shooting at Santini, but it's like it's an artistry thing.
Let me interrupt you, my fellow artists, and I gotta shake your hands because you do diligence on your own accord. So make sure that you master your craft before even presenting it.
Right.
And that's what me and Santini grew up with, and that's why I respect my brothers, my fellow musicians within my circle, and I feel blessed that I've got an opportunity to meet you guys because you guys are true masters of art in your craft. And you don't even understand it. And that's why I have a lot of ambition for you guys. And that's why I love my circle. Because, man, at the end of the day, if I was a guy who was out here chasing my craft in New York, didn't know anyone, I would have to come in and barter with you to get this opportunity to be on a mainstream outlet within your reach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Within what you established within your own self and your own talents.
Right.
So the Most High giving me this opportunity to meet you guys. As far as, man, all of you guys, man, I keep y'all very dear and near to my heart and my blessings because I learn, and it's making it more easy, bro, to focus on the calling in your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I see that's what you guys have in your own separate time. I see what you do. You spend numerous amounts of time. Much respect, bro. You out here investing in yourself. You're out here actually putting in the work, putting in the time, showing due diligence, and putting that energy into the atmosphere for you to receive your return.
Right.
So that's what I'm all about, and that's the love of it. The love of it because I don't even have to try to reach out because it comes to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my craft is I still sit back and, you know, I'm not the greatest of producers, bro, but I can sit back and throw and rub shoulders with anyone I need to grab what I need to strengthen myself from within my zen to produce the things that I know people are struggling with in their day-to-day lives through my music.
Right.
You feel me?
See, and even at that though, like what you're talking about with the struggle as a musician, whenever whenever you listen to a track and you lay down something, right, and then you end up hearing the final mix of it and it's not to your liking as a musician, that's a conflict with the actual musician itself. It's not even really your producer, your engineer, or anything like that. That's just you conflicting with yourself as a musician, because God knows I'm a perfectionist, and it's not just in my music, it's in my work ethic too. Like, and the thing about
I think any like person that's involved in music and has actually recorded songs and put stuff out there is going to be some level of a perfectionist. You see like the elite level you see like elite level musicians, producers and things. You see like elite level producers. I'm just going to use Dr. Dre for an example. How long have we waited for Detox?
Excuse my cup, everyone.
How long have we waited for Detox? This nigga released an entire other album just on a whim, like before he released that, and like literally like, hey, we started doing this Straight Outta Compton movie, and it got me in this mode where I'm like, oh man, I got this energy where I want to like create a sound similar to what we did back in 84, 82, and it got me in that zone, and I was able to put out an entire movie soundtrack again. But like the album that people want, the album that you've been working on, you have songs for it that have been released periodically throughout the years. You can't put that project together. And I've seen, for instance, literally like Dopest was hounding you the other day when we were sitting there listening to songs in the room. You were he was literally saying, "My bro, put a mixtape out," because you have a lot of stuff that's done and recorded and finished, and it just hasn't been mixed. But like songs that are done and complete. And Welcome to Compton, yes. You can release a mixtape right now of So Throat and Electric Sound collaborations. Right now, you could.
And do good numbers.
And there's a ton of songs that are done that have been finished, just need to be mixed down. And I understand why they haven't been released. You guys aren't satisfied with the sound. You guys aren't. You haven't gotten a concept done yet. It's like I don't want to put this stuff out as a project because it's just not fitting my vision for what I want to do with it. I literally just shared a.
I'm gonna slide in real fast.
No, you in, man. You in.
I just.
It's real conversation.
We gotta turn the camera. So I literally just put out I shared a video on Facebook. My boy Richie Branson, from San Antonio. He just shared a song. He put a clip, and this was years ago. It's a song called Hentai Lamborghini, and he shot an entire video for this song. It's amazing. You gotta listen to it.
I came up on accident. That's what's crazy, bro. How the universe will bring you certain things, bro.
Great song. He recorded an entire video for it, bro. He literally just put a snippet up. This was like 2 years ago. Just released a song because he was like, well, I think personally, because of this outbreak and this epidemic, he just kind of had that energy like, I need to put something positive out in the world to help people. So I'm going to put music out that I have, but I've been sitting on, and this is the perfect time. I think if this outbreak doesn't happen, he doesn't release his new music. It doesn't happen. Because he's been doing other things as far as money and making moves and stuff like that. Life, you know. And I don't fault him for it. He's an artist. I understand that struggle because I've been around people that have done it. I've experienced it myself, not on the recording end, but like when I want to stream and it's like, man, dude, I have like no energy for it. It's like, I really want to get this video done. I have a ton of games that I've been wanting to finish as far as series wise. Near Automata. I just started replaying Shin Megami Tensei 3
John.
Nocturne.
Hey yo, we're gonna ride together. I'm gonna drive.
Ah, my
We're gonna
boy
ride
John.
together,
That's our boy. That's our boy,
We're gonna
man.
ride together. What color
I mean,
do you want it, bro? What color are you looking for, bro?
The whole streaming thing.
I understand the struggle of being someone who has like a creative or artistic vision,
Yes.
and then you're like, bro, you just do not have the energy to put the stuff out there, whether it be depression or like you're just not satisfied with what the material is. I've experienced it personally, not being a musician, but it's like now that I've been doing the streaming for years now, it's like I understand, because there would be days where I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking do this. I don't want to do this. I'm not satisfied with my layouts. I'm not satisfied with something musically that I want to play. I'm not satisfied with my sound levels or whatever I have going on. And it's just like, fuck, dude.
It's not gonna deliver
See,
like
see,
I
and
want
that-
it to.
Exactly.
See, and that's the thing too. Like,
And I understand the meticulousness of perfecting things. And any
No Santino knows about that meticulousness.
when you get to that level of creativity,
dude, me and him have conflicted many times. Because of that
exactly.
too.
Matter of fact,
And
a
you
perfect
can't lie about that, bro. We've conflicted many times.
a
about
perfect
that
example
shit, man.
is, and I've seen the frustration with Santini, Miss J.
Oh,
and-
gee,
and-
that's something else now.
and-
That's not even on the
and-
level of me and
and her-
Santini now. That's Santini.
and her-
It's
her
now.
not wanting to
Shout
record.
out to Jones.
And her,
Shout out to
Jay,
Jones.
I love Jay Jones. She's awesome.
Enough
But her
said.
not wanting to record.
Oh,
And
shit.
I've literally sat in the studio with her.
Real
in a
talk.
session.
That's me and Santini both conflicting with her too.
Exactly. I've literally sat in a studio session with her and literally heard her say from her mouth, I don't even want to rap or sing. I just want to write for people. I just want to ghostwrite. Like, I've seen her say that. And Santini's like, bro, she's so talented and I want to get stuff done. And I have projects ready for her, bro. Like, literally. And she'll lay down a hook and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And you're just like, I need you to lay down a verse. And she doesn't want to do anything. And then he has to fucking, like, it's like pulling blood from a stone to get her to come record. So I understand that frustration. I've experienced that myself as far as streaming, like with my boy Ray when we were doing the dynamic duo thing, like scheduling stuff with him. Mind you, this is when he wasn't working.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he had all the free time in the world. I could not get him to do stuff because he was burnt out.
Yes, sir.
Scheduling even like the podcast with me and Astro, literally like
Dude,
it's just
this has been like how many years?
we've been
now?
talking about this for years, and it's literally just
This
been
is
like
2 years, and we're finally doing the first podcast.
and it's not even a creative thing. It's literally just been like scheduling. But at the same time, like earlier today, like if we wouldn't have figured out, if we wouldn't have had stuff we were already talking about today, we might not have had anything to record. Because like we were just sitting there like, what are we gonna talk about? In the truck, like thankfully we were already having a conversation about stuff, and I was like, okay, we're gonna pause this conversation
Thanks, brother.
and we'll talk about something.
I mean, not only that, we're here at the house, and we're literally
While we're sitting-
developing shit,
while you were
and we're,
talking, and
about
I was
what
like,
we're
what
going to
we're
talk
gonna
about,
do.
and it got into this whole fucking different level of like the conversation to begin with, the topic that we're going to
Right.
talk about,
and
and we're like, okay, hold on, we're putting that on hold.
we're gonna put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
We're gonna say
Which
that.
even at that, even when we did freaking podcast and we started talking about that same topic, not all was said that we both talked about.
No, it
even
wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
'Cause God knows, freaking, if I said what I needed to say,
Yeah. But
Now, see, in that age,
there would be a lot of females right now watching our show.
facts. And the way that we go,
No?
and it's all about development, man. In your process, it's not gonna leave you. Your passion will never leave, and that's where I had to humble myself in that process to understand that life goes on. Time, like I said, time waits for nobody.
right.
So you grow and you develop. However, your passion still stays there. Your inner kid and your go get it attitude for what you love to do, it's always gonna be there, man. However, I'm gonna interrupt real quick, and I wish I could sign this podcast because this might be a benchmark moving forward for the process of our lives to establish that we've been trying to do forever.
Right.
You feel me? And now we're finally getting there. Shout out to Santini. Everybody in this podcast, this is legendary.
Right. Everybody in the chat, John, Shannon, my girl Kim, my boy KS, my boy Toby. Thank you guys for tuning in and asking us questions and contributing to the
There you
process.
go. Look what John said, and Logic said it best. It's super rough, bro. And John said it himself. I can say that from being in a band for years. Some days we would have our 6th show in a month, and we just wouldn't even want to perform.
I've seen you guys with that process back in the Music Vault days. You guys would be there at a show, and we're enjoying ourselves, and we're having a good night. And then it's like, well, the venue's like fucking dead, and like you see people there, and you're performing, and
somebody has a camera.
Right. So we're gonna record this, and then to top it all off, and then like
and you still don't want to do it, right?
Say when you do finally perform, and like the crowd is only there to see one person, not you guys, but other people that are performing tonight. They're only there to see them, and it's like, come on, I need you guys to give a little bit more fucking energy. And I understand you're here to support them, but like I know you guys are enjoying this music. I need you to give a little bit more energy out than you're giving.
The energy that we don't have that gives you that insight of the industry, the mainstream aspect of the in front of the cameras and the light, because you put in so much fucking work.
Right.
So much work, bro. You're like, what the fuck is not the universe understanding about my effort? And then it starts.
see, and the thing about it too, like God knows I'm funny whenever I'm drunk as shit.
Yeah.
And I understand the whole aspect of the music thing, the video game thing, because I started off as a streamer.
Right.
Streaming video games, but the thing about it was that even when we first started on Twitch and shit like that, I wasn't getting a whole lot of viewers.
Right.
And I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I don't have tits and a freaking ass, and I'm not freaking.
I mean, that's not completely it, but that can help.
You have to have some kind of characterization in your streaming too. This is why there's cats like Markiplier or PewDiePie who are fucking big and shit like that. And this is where it's like it gotten to me in this level now where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just have a YouTube channel where I'm just like being comical and doing little freaking sketches and shit like that.
Right.
And me and my buddy have talked about this, like just doing sketch freaking
just
comedy
knock it out,
shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And just to get them what they want and
getting sketch comedy.
It will do better than what you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And even that alone, like even though comedy isn't my fucking like forte,
yeah.
But music and freaking video games are like that's still something that you should probably freaking
venture.
Yeah, discover as an avenue as well.
Just to go ahead and knock out that process because you see so many other people being successful.
Well, unfortunately, I hate to say it, it's kind of like a way of saying selling out, but at the same time, it's kind of like if you have some comedic value to you, maybe you should apply that to your music or your streaming or whatever that is.
And that's my struggle with what I've done, because I was like, I like streaming. I like streaming video games. I like playing stuff. I like being informative to people when they ask me things about games and my opinions and information and stuff. I don't want to be a person that is a character. I want to be myself. I don't want to have to do that, like what you're saying, where it's like, well, everyone else is doing that. Why don't I do that? No. I want to be funny when I'm being just naturally funny about something.
Which we have, though.
We've done a little bit of that today.
I mean, it's usually
it's
usually the both of us combined is where it becomes fun.
We play off each other really well. And that's why I wanted to do this, because I'm like, I know personally when I'm by myself, I'm very much a straight man for stuff. I don't constantly make jokes to myself or be funny if I'm just singular. I'm funny when I'm playing off of people. You've seen it. If we're all in a group, and then it's like, wow, why is this nigga Hook? What the fuck? Like, you don't see this normally because I'm not like that.
But that's just how you interact with your craft.
Right.
And I understand that completely. Going back to reiterating what I said about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
As a Virgo, we keep timestamps.
We do.
All day, big dog. You Virgo pick up? Oh, snap. However, going back to what we got to say as far as the importance of the podcast, gentlemen, and an art history of this conversation.
Right.
And the appreciation for the opportunity for me to be in front of these two guys right here with you young son of a bitches on the chat. You don't understand how monumental this is. Going back to what you said and reiterating what I said, the life of it, and understanding your comfortability, first of all. You got to find your comfortability, fellas, right?
Right.
And introducing yourself to how people portray you, right? Man, I've had this conflict forever. That's why I keep all my stuff to myself. And I'm like, my art is always going to be with me. My craft, my happiness within my zen, and how I go back to that zen to escape from the problems of living and being a man and all this
right life stuff
shit. and these parameters that life gives us, bro. Oh, you don't even want to talk about that. However,
That could be for some in the future.
like I was trying to tell you, I get a little bit skewed a little bit because I'm so passionate. So excuse me. But going back to what you said that as far as the fact that you gather yourself, you present yourself in a certain way that you feel is if it's accepted. And
As a
singular.
singular.
Thank you. And that's the conflict, bro.
Yeah.
Because people are not going to sit back most of the day. The majority are not going to respect your craft. They're not going to ask themselves, why is this guy doing this?
Right.
What has he been through? You know what I mean? Oh, is this music good? Oh, how many followers do we have? How many likes do we have?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I love you guys.
It's the whole clout situation.
Facts. And that's why I love you guys, because I know my team is grand. Everyone that I'm introducing to me is from a gathering of the universe of what I put out. So you guys understand, and these guys in these chats, my boy John, what do you say? There you go.
Oh no, that's just some automated shit I have.
Yo, for these guys listening, sign this because it's legendary. That's all I live on, man. Living legends. We don't know what happens in the afterlife, bro. Stay to your craft. Stay true to yourselves. Stick to it. Show consistency in your time to the universe. It's going to produce return. It's going to produce return. The biggest thing about a man, especially a man with kids, children, wife, juggling life, that's we all are. Stick to your craft. Put in the time. Desert every other point that the universe wants, or not even the universe, but people. Society. Thank you. Go ahead and pick it up for me there, brother.
Basically, what my boy Will is trying to say is don't let society dictate on your actions in this world, because God knows I have in the past, and it was more on a negative aspect where the thing about us Virgos, not to make this about crystals and zodiac signs and shit like that, right? But us Virgos is we kind of have this like ground level of what we handle things at. And basically is that we're very reserved. We don't let a lot of people in, and when we do, we are very passionate and very protective over who we let in. And the thing about that too is that if people betray us to some degree, we hold that very personal, because the fact that how reserved we are and how we let people in. When someone betrays us at that point in time, then we have a way of building up our walls and not freaking letting people in at that point. Yeah.
Going to what we know. That's what.
And the thing about that is too is that we come out very cold, very dark, very unemotional about things. But the thing about it too is that we are very emotional. This is why our music is so passionate. Thank you, brother. Your music is very passionate. My music is very passionate. This is why I can't really get into hard rock or like be a great ass fucking metal artist.
Let's not be biased because we're speaking into the general population.
You're right. I specifically can't be freaking heavy metal artist, freaking lead guitarist, because of the emotion I have behind me, where I'm more able to play great whenever it comes to very deep, chill, emotional shit, like very ballad stuff. It's very sad shit. As in another Virgo who has the same kind of background as me, but a different level-headedness, he's gonna play really freaking heavy metal shit. But the thing about it is that we're very emotional people to begin with, right? And that's really what it is. And it's not even just the Virgo thing. Right. Everyone does, and everyone has their own freaking level of it, and you just gotta learn people as they go. So
and that's the beauty of it. However, that's the beautiful conflict and the irony in that.
Yes.
In that art, because you might go on stage, and I've been in Battle of the Bands, and I go up with a freaking laptop, and I'll produce a CD, and these guys have equipment. Shout out to Santini. These guys have drum equipment, guitars, analog equipment. These guys aren't playing games; they're ready to perform, and we show these guys out. And I've never experienced that in my life, and I see these guys looks on their faces once we claim victory.
Shit, just imagine if you had me at the time.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. None of them guys remind me of any of you. nothing of your resemblance at all. And that's what I'm like, you know, and it makes me wonder, bro. But it's not putting anybody's craft down. It's not putting anybody's craft down. But that's when you know, you ask yourself, am I really supposed to do this? Just like Hook, bro. I look at you, man, and I'm like, bro, you are that guy. And I just was in the room handling some business on the real estate aspect. Yeah. On investing and doing some other shit because, you know, we got to make this money, man.
Right, I understand.
Crafts come second me.
I understand.
However, when I listen to you, bro, and I step back and I really just applied my hearing to what you guys were talking about, you motherfuckers are strong. You motherfuckers are some pillars, bro. Like, you are... And, you know, that's why I said we got to sign this podcast because you guys are going somewhere, bro. That's why I'm blessed, like I told you, with my company.
Right.
Come on now, man. Come on now, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're going to toast to that one right there. Yeah. Boom. There we go.
We're going places, brother, because our zeal.
Episode 1.
This is perfection within ourselves.
This is the first episode, so this is a commemorative episode.
Very long episode.
Yes, it is. We're at 2.5 hours right now.
I'm just a messenger, bro.
Okay. All right. So we got another question. This will be the last one we talk about, and then we're going to sign off for today. I don't know when we're going to get to do another one of these. What are you doing tomorrow?
You're off every Monday and Tuesday, right?
I'm off Tuesday and Wednesday. My boy Toby said.
We rolling as long as.
Hold on. No, I gotta get some scheduling stuff out the way.
Right.
Are you? What are you doing tomorrow and Wednesday? I'm off.
I work Monday through Friday, bro.
Well, no, I'm saying
Saturdays.
like what time do you get off?
3:30. If not, it's 4:30. And at that,
would you be willing to record tomorrow and the next day?
Yes.
All right. So we might be back tomorrow. I'm not gonna guarantee that, but we probably will be doing this again.
We're gonna be back on.
We're gonna be back tomorrow. So we're gonna record another episode of the podcast. I don't know if I'm gonna do
Toby, man.
Toby San, my boy. He's one of my guys from the old Nocturne streams. Toby, you were down there for a bunch of those. Thank you for coming back to the channel again and again. So we'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna do any traditional gaming streams this week.
We're gonna work on the video shit too. Me and Hook have a lot of homework
also in the YouTube description, I'm gonna lay down my SoundCloud. I'm gonna lay audio. I'm gonna download this and I'm gonna put an audio version of this podcast. I'm gonna upload it on my SoundCloud. The link will be there in the description of this video and any future podcasts. So if you want to listen to this on the go and don't want to use the YouTube app or you want to download this, it'll be available there. So let's get back to your question here. Toby-san asked, one question in a fantasy.
Let me say something real fast.
Okay, go ahead.
If you're needing something to get you by in the meantime in the process of progressing in your gaming, and you need something to relax and tune your ears and just enjoy yourself,
self-meditate.
We make music, Santini and I, Electric Sound.
Yes, sir.
Tune in to electricsound.com and go ahead and get yourself by on your fix. We'll give you a fix all day. So Toby-san, to answer your question, I would rather be a villain because villains are misunderstood.
Oh, okay. Whoa. I wasn't given that question.
So Toby-san's question is, one question in a fantasy RPG, would you rather play as the hero or a villain that will take over the world? There is actually games like Overlord where you play as the villain.
Can I answer now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to play the villain.
Actually, you go ahead, start with your answer. I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Go ahead, sir.
I would rather play as a villain. You want to ask why, Will?
Yes, sir.
I will tell you why, Will. Well, I don't know if you guys have Netflix and you watch the new freaking Castlevania series, but yes, I would rather play the villain because of Dracula himself.
Yeah, man, very misunderstood. It's
a very misunderstood villain.
In that, bro.
The same thing with Thanos. Thanos, whenever freaking Endgame came out, it made sense to me why Thanos was Thanos. Because you know why? Because he understood that a lot of life that of high intellect has lost their way. Is because they're very selfish beings to begin with. So how do you balance it out? You take out half the population.
Oh, snap. We're getting deep now.
It's very dark. It's very dark. I know.
Very deep.
And you know how we get. We're very dark-minded people. But it's logical and methodical to an extent.
All day there, Toby. All day. So build an empire. And I will join your empire, brother, and I will build with you. And that's what we're going. Because at the end of the day, what we're looking at in common denominator, we might have to go back to that, brother. We might have to go back to the method of survival from what we know from video games.
I mean, real talk, though. Real talk, the whole COVID freaking virus, the coronavirus. Yeah, we're going back to that topic. Sorry, Hook. The whole coronavirus thing. I'm deeply upset on the whole coronavirus thing. And you know why? You know why? Because I wanted the zombie virus, not coronavirus. I didn't want it to just kill children and old people. No. I wanted it to mutate freaking people to fucking eat each other like they're already doing, but in a metaphorical sense here. I mean, shit, you guys are fighting over toilet paper? While the whole fucking society is fighting over toilet paper, I'm over here washing my asshole with the fucking bathtub. And you guys are fighting over fucking toilet paper?
I've never wanted a bidet more than ever now.
Bro, I tried a bidet in Japan. You know what it says to you? Arigatou gozaimashita.
Squirt, squirt.
Squirt, squirt. Oh, damn, my shit is clean.
It was a very intimate moment on that bidet in Japan. And you know what? I enjoyed it.
Oh, I don't monetize my videos, Toby, so that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Okay, Santini sent me something in an email. I'm gonna have to check that out later. Okay, so back to the villain hero question.
Oh, Castlevania, Dracula.
Yeah, you talked about that.
Dracula.
Me personally, I would rather be a villain.
Oh, okay.
Hell no, I don't want to be a hero.
Fucking Belmonts.
Me personally, I think characterization-wise, the best villains you see in media, whether it be books, video games, any kind of storytelling, are tragic characters. They're characters that have a reason why they have become a villain. There's a catchphrase in one of the best written characterizations of the Joker as a character in DC Comics. It's from The Killing Joke. He makes a comment to when he's talking about his backstory. He says, essentially, all it takes is one bad day, and that's true.
You're talking about Joker.
All it takes is one bad day to ruin a person.
Yes, bro.
To turn them from the path of quote unquote righteousness. That's all it takes. You can have one bad day, and that could fuck up your life for life.
Outlook, bro.
I'm not gonna talk about Joker's story, but I
love Joker's story.
You know who else? I was just.
I hate how younger.
I was just thinking for instance. Okay, we'll use Hulk for example because the Hulk is not really portrayed as a hero. He's an anti-hero, and the Hulk, the character, the characterization of the Hulk, especially in the early comics, is almost villain-like because he's considered a menace. Literally, Bruce Banner was doing an experiment. It goes wrong. He tries to save his friend from getting bombarded with gamma radiation. He does. He saves Flash Thompson. Or not Flash Thompson. I forgot the dude's name. He saves him. But because he saves him, he takes on the gamma radiation onto himself. He becomes the Hulk. The Hulk becomes a menace. The Hulk literally wants nothing but peace. But because of how dangerous he is, he's considered a menace by society. All it took was one bad day.
Do you hear this, fellas?
One bad day.
Do you hear this?
All it took was one bad day. That's on the almost villain side of things. Eddie Brock of the Venom, who is a villain. One bad day. He goes onto a case to discover a news story. It ends up being false information. He gets fired. On that same occasion, Spider-Man gets involved and he gets fucked over. Loses his job. Everything about himself as a person. He gets fucking taken over by the symbiote. One bad day. That's all it took. And the not only his animosity towards Spider-Man for his involvement to, him being fucked over, but also the symbiote's hatred for Spider-Man. One bad day. That's all it took. one day
That's what it takes.
for this man to be completely soured on life to where he wants to, in his case,
So me and a daily.
for him, in his case, he wants to take vengeance on Peter Parker. In the Hulk's case, he is extremely aggravated with society on a whole because they want to attack him because they consider him a menace because
So
he's
me
so
and a
dangerous.
You gotta unite, fellas.
And there's so many villains like that in storytelling. And for me,
Unite, brothers.
I see characters like that. I'm like, bro, this could have been a good person. Recent example, the Aquaman movie. The villain, Black Manta.
Haven't seen it yet because I'm not a DC
Spoiler
guy.
alert. 3, 2, 1.
I mean, I don't mind.
Black Manta, he's already a bad guy. He does stuff for money. He steals things for money. But his problem with Aquaman in general, he does not have a beef with Aquaman until one bad day happens. His father dies because Aquaman stops them from completing their theft. Which, you know, hey, you guys are bad guys. But that's all it took for him to have a complete personal vendetta. He completely shifts from just being a mercenary that steals things to super villain.
Following this craft.
I want to kill this guy now. I don't just want to steal stuff. I want to kill this motherfucker here. Yeah, he was a pirate. Exactly. One bad day.
Yeah, and pirates.
One bad day.
Pirates.
It can be subjective. Some pirates don't kill people, some people don't. In their case, they were kind of going to kill those soldiers on that ship.
I mean, it's guidelines.
But I'm just saying. All it takes is for something like that to ruin someone. We've seen that. Will, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen it a situation. I'm gonna use a woman here because this is more applicable to the real world. You've seen a woman who has literally got ruined.
We're not bringing women in here. We're He-Man woman haters.
Wait, no. I'm just listen to my example here. Me and you have
We're
experienced.
anti-feminists.
Me and you have seen this time and time again, where you see a female who she messes with another dude, right? And it completely shifts her perspective on any other man she fucks with after that. And we see it with men too, conversely. We seen it with men too, conversely. Me and Astro talk about this all the time, where it's like literally like, bro, I have had a bad relationship situation, and I don't want to deal with any other women the same way before.
I'm comfortable with this zeal.
Like me personally, I've said it again and again to you guys off podcast, off camera. I do not want to get into another committed relationship again after my divorce. I don't. And that's kind of fucked up. But I had one bad situation. I had one bad situation. I'm just saying. I had one bad situation, and I'm like, bro, I'm not doing this again. Like, and that soured me on anything else. And that's to a small degree, but an extreme can happen to someone where it can be like, I get fucked over by the government or the police or whatever the fuck, and then I just flip the fuck out.
Yo, that's deep.
So for me, going back to the original question,
I mean, I'm ex-military and I don't trust the government.
I
so,
prefer the tragic villain in storytelling. I'd rather be that character because I feel like it's the most realistic, more human characterization of people. The hero.
Shout out to the RetroGaming Dojo, the most powerful dojo where you get true insight on real gamers who put in the time. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yo, we doing major things.
I feel that with heroes, generally, it's a generalization.
They perceive this.
They tend to be holier than thou.
Yeah.
They tend to be someone who doesn't go through any kind of struggle or strife. Not that that doesn't exist, because it does. Spider-Man is a perfect example of a hero that is a tragic hero who has actual real life problems, that goes through stuff.
Spider-Man.
He's probably one of the main ones. The X-Men are another example of people who go through. They literally go through.
Yeah, but they go through racism, but on a different scale.
Yeah, exactly. The X-Men is a complete civil rights movement. That's an example.
Yeah, but it's still enjoyable, unlike feminism.
Stop. I'm just saying. it exists on both sides, but I'd rather be the tragic villain because I prefer that characterization because I feel it's like the most human fucking aspect of storytelling.
You hit this level of Astro where it's just
But-
like, I'm getting fucked.
After that question, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here.
Are we wrapping up really?
Yes, we're
No,
wrapping up.
we're not.
We're not. We're not. What are we gonna talk about?
Journalists, they are kind of fucking up the
Do Doom Eternal review. Well, none of us have played it yet. I know I haven't.
Oh, Doom Eternal? I've seen freaking previews of that.
I haven't played
So
it
pretty
yet.
much freaking Hell on Earth comes to Earth is basically what I've gathered
Well,
on that.
what he's saying is a lot of people in the journalism realm of video game journalism, which I think is a farce. I don't listen to the video game
Video
journalists.
game journalism?
It's trash. Almost all of it. Almost all of it. Not all of it, but almost all of it is. The big thing that people are complaining about of how hard the game is. And they're complaining, oh man, I don't have enough ammo to fight and all this. But they're not using all the tools you have available to you to progress through the game.
Yeah.
They're trying to play it in a certain way, and the game wants you to play the game this way so you can be successful. But instead, they're like, well, I don't want to do that. And then complain about the game being hard. Like, bitch, you're not approaching this the way that the developers are wanting you to approach the shit. Like, we're giving you the tools and you don't want to use them. That's the issue. So, I think it's been unfair with video game journalists. A vocal minority, I'll say that, because there's a lot of people, the majority of people that have praised the game. But there's a very vocal minority that have come out and been like, this and that, and have kind of slammed it. And I just don't appreciate it because a lot of this...
I mean, Hook has some very great insight, bro.
A lot of the times, what you say with those, what you see with those people are people who aren't really. You see this a lot in video game journalism where they really don't get really in depth into the gameplay or just the game in general, and they only kind of do this is a surface level presentation of what they experience, and so what ends up happening is they write their review because they work for a magazine or they work for a website, and so they only have so much time to work on these things.
Yeah, they have to test play it, and their test play is probably like not even an hour.
I mean, it might be longer, but still, they're only doing a very surface level gameplay.
Yeah.
And so they
As
only
us gamers and non-profitable freaking streamers, we play a game and we're totally
Right.
invested.
That's
so
why,
we
like, for
have
me-
an
me
unbiased
personally-
opinion compared to the journalists.
Well, me personally, when it comes to gaming, when it comes to gaming
As
reviews,
far as how it relates to what we're going through.
when it comes to gaming
Man, let me
reviews,
tap that, man. See, this is deep, and this is why we're not going to end this podcast until we get this point across.
that's when it comes to gaming reviews, I only go with fan stuff. Like, I'll go on like a Steam page, I'll read a in-depth review where someone's put in hours, put in the time. You know, like I see someone, like, I'll apply this to real life, quote unquote. You see someone at the workplace, they start a job, they're only there for like 2 weeks. I'm not gonna listen
and
to
they're
that
already talking
person's.
for a raise, but they ain't even
I'm not
done
gonna
shit.
listen to that person's complaints and job experience when they've only been there for 2 weeks. I'm gonna talk to the guy that's been there a year, that's been there 6 months. I want to hear that guy talk.
That goes with
That's me.
the comment that Toby made. They cannot even beat it on easy.
Exactly. You haven't really experienced what this is. You only see the surface level of things. So I can't take you serious
Thank you.
as someone that's complaining about something, your critiques on something. I can't take you serious. You've only experienced a little bit of it. Most gaming journalists don't beat games before they review them.
Thank you.
It's facts.
What's
That's
the name
just-
of the
that's-
Ninja Turtle journalists?
that's just-
The
that's-
journalists
that's
that
just-
go on, April.
April O'Neil. That's just like for instance, when we talk about music, and you know, when you see music reviews, like generally they listen to the whole album, but obviously reviews on music are subjective. Me personally, I'm like, well, when you review an album, this is what I want to hear about. I want to hear about the technical aspects. I want to hear about how it sounds sonically, how things are putting together as far as the instrumentation and the music and the beats and stuff. I want to hear about the bars, the lyrics.
Thank you.
I want to hear about that when you review album. I don't want to hear your subjective I don't want.
I mean, it's a little different in rock music. Rock music is a lot of instrumental stuff.
Exactly,
as well as
but
the
you
chorus,
can still
so you got a lot more.
you can still be
to-
objective with those
Yeah,
reviews.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
And that's what I want to hear about. Like, if you just don't vibe with it, I understand, but you can at least respect the instrumentation of the beats, the lyricism of the words that are putting together. Do they fit well with the subject matter and the music? Does that work? And then you can say at the end, like, hey, yeah, all this stuff is done well. It's like someone doing a good review on an Eminem album. Yes, he's talented. Yes, he fucking rides the beat. Yes, the lyrics are there. It's just not for me. I'm good with that. That's a objective review over an artist's music. And that's how I feel like.
Because they hold ourselves, they hold us accountable to provide them the experience that they need from our craft.
Right. And it's just like, okay, well, I don't like it because it's not this. I'm like, oh, well, you just prefer that kind of music. So why are you, one, my biggest question is, why are you even reviewing this? Because you already have a lane that you like. And if you are going to review it, why aren't you trying to be objective?
But it's beautiful, though. I love it.
I need you to objectively review the music sonically. I need you to objectively review the lyrics. Are the lyrics good? Is the message that's being trying to be conveyed in the song? So it doesn't have to be something. It doesn't have to necessarily be on some conscious shit or trying to put out a message.
I'm gonna dip into the side of the relationship, and Hook, you are grand, and I had to interrupt you because you're shining, sir. So let me interrupt and interject on the interest of the conversation because, sir, you are golden.
Thank you.
And I have to ask myself, based on what you tell me, because I'm learning in this process as well, as an artist who's trying to perfect myself as in Virgo, who checks myself like, what is the quarterback for the Colts? What's his name? You might not know what his name is, but his name is... What's his name, man?
I don't follow football like that, bro.
The coldest quarterback who critiques himself. That's a quick trivia.
David Jeter.
Not David Jeter.
Peyton
Manning. Peyton Manning.
Former quarterback, anyway.
Yeah, former quarterback. That man is a master of his craft.
Where's the?
We can always respect that.
Okay, got it.
When we recognize that, and it's all about finding your place in music. Santini, shout out to Santini.
25.
Openly, not with lane.
Yeah.
Review it openly, not with the lane.
Don't hit the button.
Exactly.
Just
exactly.
pull it dry
We
and
gotta
then
keep
hit.
an open mind about our aspects and unbiasedness in this process of
Thank you.
Because it was dry already, bro.
reaching
so.
our audience.
Yeah, I got you.
Reaching our audience.
Woo.
So our audience might be this way, our audience might be this way. So we got to keep it open all day, just like music, and that's what we struggle with as producers. We struggle with reaching an open audience and being accepted on a universal scale. How do y'all feel about that?
Being accepted on a universal scale.
Being accepted on a universal scale and that struggle in between.
Here's the thing, though, is that society isn't obligated to accept you as you are. This is why there's different cliques. This is why there's different groupings. This is why, as human beings, we fail to begin with, because there is no true unification. This is why there's race problems. This is why there is nationality problems. This is why there is no unifying humans to begin with. Humans alone are supposed to fucking be at war with each other, because us as humans hate the fact that any trait that we actually have is actually not portrayed in us. It's portrayed in another group of humans.
Continue.
So this is why we're at continuous war. This is why we're struggling for greed, for freaking wealth, and all that jazz. So
no, go ahead, get into that. I want you to dwell into that. Go ahead.
What war?
No, go ahead and explain that on a universal language. Explain that on a universal acceptance of what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so like, if I may interject,
why humans can't unify?
I mean, people aren't going to be accepting of each other. It's just literally human nature. You can't. There's only certain people that you're going to accept because they fit with your mindset.
And it's literally on a base. It's on a basis of
it's a very
religion or belief.
It's a
or
very
any of
exactly
that jazz.
anything like that. And
This is why cats like you and I freaking stay solitary to begin with.
it's
Because we
kind of
don't believe
like
in trends.
it's kind of like yeah, we'll get to that, Toby, and that'll be the last subject for the podcast because I need to get some fucking food in me. I've been drinking, so we'll get to your question last.
This podcast, because this podcast is
Bro,
really-
it's going too long, man. We're not.
we're gonna ride.
We'll answer that last question, and that'll be it. So speaking on what you guys, just gentlemen, were talking about as far as universal acceptance, it's one of the reasons why I at some point in my life, in my adult life, I accepted the fact that people aren't going to accept who I am and how I carry myself, because you gotta accept you for you. You gotta be good with yourself first, and you have to be basically like, okay, well, if people aren't going to accept me for who I am, well then, if I have a circle of people around me that do, I need to be good with that. Not everyone is going to like you or understand you as a person.
Yeah.
And you need to be comfortable in that, and be comfortable in your skin, and be comfortable with that shit.
Beautiful.
So,
I mean, I'll give you a tribulation after he's done too.
so I'm done.
Okay.
That's it I have on that.
Here's my thing too. Okay, so my standard of people, right? If you guys are having a fucking party, right? And Santini's here, Mike's here, freaking you're here, Hook's here, fucking all the fucking old casts that we do musically or freaking have always clicked with are here, and I'm not here. Do you really think that someone is gonna be like, wait, why the fuck ain't Mike here? Why the fuck is Astro not here?
That happens a lot.
And guess what? You guys are gonna hit me up, and it's probably gonna be like 3 of you max. Hit me up at the same time, like, yo, Astro, what you doing, bro? Get the fuck over here, my dude. And then I'm gonna come through because I'm like, yo, my guys are calling me. I'm coming through.
Yeah.
And you know this group.
Yeah.
You know the group that I'm talking about that we met through a mutual friend of ours.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
We met this group of friends, and they don't hit me up immediately. They don't tell me the plans and shit like that. They don't tell me. They hit me up after the fact, like when it's like 11, 12 o'clock, and then they want me to come through. And it's always been the same fucking thing. They always hit me up when it's like the latest fucking moment.
Facts.
And it's all because one person was like, hey, where's this person?
Because
Oh
the energy-
shit,
the energy-
we forgot about him. Let's invite him.
Yep, because
Right.
that's where you get
And this is where like the whole cliques and freaking like unifying humans and shit like that. It's like, and the thing about it is that me and this group of people, we don't have a common ground in anything. If anything, I'm just a wallflower in their home or in their party.
Shout out to the podcast. Gang. Shout out to Toby's son, Obi-Wan. Shout out to the Nightbot for interrupting and throwing off.
That's just automated
Shout out
stuff.
to Roger One.
But what I'm saying
That's
is,
just teeny.
that
What are you saying, Astro?
I mean, I'm saying a lot of shit. Actually.
All right,
It's
so
just yeah.
we're gonna
At
go
this
ahead.
point, it's a rant.
We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to this next question, and then after this, we're gonna go ahead.
We're
and,
done.
sign
We're
off.
done after this next
Yeah,
question.
because
I'm getting a little tipsy.
We're getting a little faded. All right, so basically, this is another gaming / media question.
Okay, cool.
So this is
What's my favorite supervillain?
no.
Dracula.
Toby asked, "How do we feel about Western media censoring things that come out of Japan?"
Shout out to
Wait, hold on.
Restream.jo.
That's like I said, that's automated stuff.
Okay, say what?
Toby asked, "How do we feel about things getting censored in the Western side of the world that come out of Japan?
Censored. What's getting censored from Japan?
Games, anime, any of that kind of stuff. How do you feel about censorship? This is more of a how do you feel about censorship in general
Woo,
of
shit.
media, be it video games, anime, manga, any of that kind of
I
stuff.
feel like I need an example.
Holy shit.
Uh,
No, we gotta ask ourselves.
No, hold on.
Who's producing this content?
Hold on.
okay, so let me give you an example.
Yeah, give me an example so I kind of have a better idea of what we're talking about.
I'll give you an early example. So like, say you're watching Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
And we'll go with the first fight in Dragon Ball Z, which is Piccolo and Goku versus Raditz.
Okay.
Piccolo hits a special beam cannon on Goku and Raditz.
And it blows a hole in Goku and freaking Raditz.
No blood. The hole isn't really shown really right. It's just like a black fucking circle on his body.
I mean, that kind of makes sense though.
But there's like.
Why would there be blood if it just burns right through you? Kind of like a lightsaber hit.
But in original media, because there's there's blood and gore and all that other shit. That's the easiest example. Probably the biggest thing is when they completely change stuff, where they change someone's characterization. I'll give you a good example. For instance, there's a translator of games.
The term is slim thick. Nowadays it's slim thick. To answer your question,
Okay.
it's slim thick.
So there's a guy who translated an old Goemon game on Super Nintendo, right? And there is a character in the original Japanese version of the game that is a transsexual. Like, the character is a transsexual.
We're talking about that weird ass dude that turned in kind of like a dinosaur on Planet Namek?
No.
That guy was
I'm talking about a video game.
Oh, video game. Okay,
The Ganbare Goemon games.
Okay.
There's a character that you meet in the story that's transsexual.
Okay.
And so he's very fucking like flamboyant, and he's out there, and he lets you know that he's not,
He's not gay.
He's trans. He's trans.
Okay.
So there was an outcry from the translation community about this characterization because it's very stereotypical. It's very stereotypical. It's not really controversial because that's been a thing. It's stereotypical.
Because
so
they
people
expect people like that to be a certain way. Of that.
But mind you, this game was made in the fucking mid '90s.
Yeah.
Mind you. So this is a translation that just reached the West. So people in the LGBT community got upset online that are following this, and they got upset about how the characterization of the character is. Mind you, this guy isn't writing this game. He's literally just translating the material that's already there. Because of pressure from people, these people being quote-unquote social justice warriors online, he literally retranslated.
The term is slim thick.
He retranslated that character in the game. And so there's another translation where it's not obvious that he's transsexual.
This is about to blow up. Right?
Now,
this is about to blow up.
How do you feel about that kind of censorship where someone will step in and they'll be like, well, we can't do that because that'll offend people. Like, motherfucker, this is how the character was written. Like,
do you see me in the video right now? I'm moving the mic closer to my mouth.
We can see.
I'm in two
do you really want my opinion?
He wants your opinion on that.
He wants my opinion? Hold on, Will.
How do you feel about people stepping in and censoring things like that, where the character was written that way in the first place for a reason, and someone steps in and is like, that's offensive. You need to change it. You need to censor that. They don't need to be like that because that makes people from this community look bad, even though it really doesn't. Go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
The LGBTQ, what is it?
The alphabet community.
The alphabet community needs to pull. Needs to pull the dildo out their ass and just fucking quit being offended by everything. The same as feminists should stop being offended by everything. The same as gays should stop being offended by everything. The same as black people shouldn't be offended by everything. The same as Mexicans should be offended by anything. The same as anyone shouldn't be offended by anything, because at the end of the day, it's words. And if you don't allow words to hurt you, then you're not hurt.
Right. And we're just talking about things that are fictional in this case.
You know how many times I was called Filipino? And that's really big against our people in Guam.
I'm not gonna front, bro. You kind of look a little Filipino.
I'm not even offended.
That's not
because
that's
I
not an
probably
insult.
believe you to some extent.
That's not an insult. I've seen a lot of Filipino people.
Yeah, they
I can
look like
see.
us.
I can see how people could misconstrue that.
The same as when a Korean says you look Japanese. I was like, thanks. Same as a Mexican saying you look Native American. Thanks.
So do you like big anime women or do you like slim anime women? Do you like
But that's my view on censorship. I don't. Hold on.
I believe censorship. Hold on.
Do you like Velma or do you like
Daphne?
Hold on.
I'm a Velma guy.
We'll get that.
I'm a Velma guy.
So, Toby, do you like Velma or do you like Daphne? Logic, chime in. Do you like Velma or do you like Daphne?
We're talking about censorship, man.
No, man, this is beautiful, bro.
Let's talk about censorship. So Astro's giving you his view.
So what I'm basically saying is that censorship is literally the how do I put this in a very correct way of placing this. Censorship is literally the training wheels of riding a bike. Take off the fucking training wheels. That's all I have to say about community to begin with.
Me personally, when it comes to censorship,
I'm not saying man up. I'm just saying get the fuck out your feelings. That's really what I'm saying.
Man up.
Yeah, get the fuck out your feelings.
I don't mind censorship in some cases because sometimes it's not like it's not something that's gonna affect me, but sometimes censorship is just overboard, where it's just like, oh, we're gonna completely change something that's completely different from the artist's vision of what they wrote. I don't like that kind of censorship. So to that end, I do not like it. I don't care.
And the thing is, it's like someone like me. I don't give a fuck if you want to dress as a female and you're a male. I don't give a fuck if you're a female and you want to dress as a male. I don't give a fuck if you like penis and you're a guy. I don't give a fuck if you're a woman and you like vagina.
All right, get this raid out, bro.
I mean, hell, if anything, you're a female who likes vagina. Word, we got common ground now. Hey, let's talk about vagina.